Welcome back to 10 Tenths Podcast with Michael, Adam, and Robbie. And we've done a lot of things in the last week. Everybody went off and did their own event, basically. Robbie didn't do an event, but he had an eventful weekend.
I had a fucking time, man.
Homeowner things.
Yeah, the perfect thing to do is go work in the yard when it's a heat index that they tell you not to be outside.
No.
It was basically the worst weekend you could possibly imagine for the summer. Short of having some sort of apocalyptic blizzard, it was terrible in the Midwest. Absolutely awful.
And it's only like the first weekend of July.
Yeah. 100+ heat index.
It's like the dead of heat of August a month early.
Literally.
Which is terrifying.
What was the
flooding
temperature?
I think
104?
That's what I remember, yes.
When I was outside?
This past weekend, yes.
I had 3 trees fall down. So then I went and bought a chainsaw. Got to do that. So I started cutting them up. And this picture that we're showing on the YouTube is literally just the small stuff.
I can't believe you got through all of that.
I'm not done yet.
Because when I had that tree limb fall and I had to cut that up, that sucked.
Yeah, it took
just a limb.
It took all Friday because I'd go until I felt like I was going to vomit. And I'm like, I've clearly pushed it too far.
Yeah.
Now you have basically heat stroke.
Then I go sit down and drink water. And then I go back. And I was getting cramps because I was so exhausted.
Heat cramps,
yeah, I was getting calf cramps. And then also, I was getting Charlie horses on my arms. Because
from
holding the chainsaw,
the
plus
grip and stuff.
I'm super dehydrated, plus I'm throwing sticks. So yeah, I was getting Charlie horses right before my elbow. Never had that happen before.
Super fucked.
That's when I knew it was too hot.
Yeah.
But I had too much shit to get done. So I did all day Saturday, all day Sunday, then all Monday night.
Well, what happened here basically is last weekend we had such bad storms, a bunch of trees fell down.
Yep.
Or the weekend before last. And then this last weekend, we had literally 10 inches of rain and everybody's basement flooded.
Yep.
And 100 degrees during the day. I mean, it's like the worst. Iowa sucks. It's like the worst case scenario possible.
This is not standard Iowa, though.
Not this
It's
bad.
never this hot. And we get a lot of rain, but we don't get it.
Not like that.
Not like this. So...
I think shit's changing. Like, I hate to be that guy. Like,
right.
I don't really care what your philosophy is on it, but like, I was talking to, because I work in roofing and plumbing, sort of, and one of the guys that I work with said, I don't really care what your opinion is on this. It rains more in shorter amounts of time than it used to, and so we have to change the way that we drain commercial roofs.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's just, like, I don't want to say this is the new normal, but it's happening more frequently than it used to.
It's cyclical, I think.
It's kind of a weird deal. Yeah, there's a picture of the Goodguys show, which I was at. I wasn't there that late, but that's basically the 7 to 10 inches of rainfall that occurred there.
And that wasn't even, they didn't get as much rain there as it did by your place.
Yeah, I don't think they got nearly as much
the farther north you go, the worse it got.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that car is. It's like a late 30s
Ford, maybe?
Business coupe or something.
It's craziness.
Wet carpet for sure in that car, for those that aren't watching the YouTube.
Hopefully all of his electronics that he has aren't mounted underneath his seat like a lot of those hot rods are.
Yeah,
that car's not going to start anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know what it looked like out there on Sunday, because that was Saturday when that picture was taken. Mm-hmm. But it's a bad deal. It's definitely a bad deal. But anyway, we'll get into more of what we did this weekend. Some more positive things later on the show. Let's go ahead and start with Adam's opener presented by Factor Fabrication.
All right. So this weekend, my sister, who lives in, I think, North Carolina right now. I don't know. They just recently moved there. Her husband is becoming a fighter pilot.
Yep.
And so he's in school or somewhere along that training path, and I believe they're living on a base in North Carolina now.
You're getting a phone call right now.
Maybe I know it's one of the Carolinas, but anyway, apparently they live not that far away from a local drag strip.
Okay,
and so they decided to take the trip because her husband has only been to a Top Fuel event, and he's relatively interested in what's going on there, but so they decided, well, let's go watch some regular bracket racing and stuff like that. And they got there, and my sister sends me a text message. She's like, did you know they changed the minimum age for junior drag racing from 8 years old to 5 years old?
That's pretty young.
5. So now you can start racing juniors at 5.
Now, is that competitively, though? Could you race younger than 8 not competitively?
Not to my understanding.
Okay, so you had to be at least 8 years old.
I'm 30, and I did it when I was 8.
Okay.
Or 10, whatever. So like I don't,
remember for sure.
Maybe not the foremost expert in the rules of the time.
Okay.
But I'm fairly certain that regardless of the situation, you needed to at least be 8 years old to get in. And I know, and it is still this way, that at that point you could only run a stock Briggs & Stratton, 5-horse Briggs & Stratton, which would essentially give you roughly a 45-mile-an-hour pass.
Okay.
That is still the case. So I kind of started doing some digging, and I Googled this because now I wanted to know. I was like, well, I mean, so that means I can get my kid in there 3 years earlier than I thought I could. So I did some Googling, and I found some of the entry-level stuff for junior dragsters and junior karting, or kid karting as it's apparently called. Apparently junior karting is more of the like...
Teens?
Like tweens to early teens.
Gotcha.
Like
pre-driver's license,
like 8 or 9 to like 15.
Yeah,
is junior karting, and kid karting apparently starts at 5 as well.
So if you're 5 years old, you have options for your race career.
You could be drag racing or wheel-to-wheel go-karting at 5.
Wow.
So I Googled this. I found both, or I found a couple of pages that kind of walk you through the starting. Apparently now, like I said, stock 5-horse Briggs & Stratton and drag racing, about a 45-mile-an-hour 8th mile pass. They claim that you can get into it buying new parts for around the $5,000 mark.
So you're saying buying
a car and a motor,
chassis, motor,
buying the whole thing. Apparently, getting it in there around the $5,000 mark.
That's pretty good.
Brand new stuff, which is not bad.
You can definitely find a used.
Oh yeah,
used setup somewhere.
We ran both the chassis that I had were used vehicles when we bought them, and so obviously you can get into that much cheaper.
Yep. Oh yeah,
and they say now the highest speed you can or elapsed times in the 8th is 790, which is about an 85-mile-an-hour pass.
Oh.
That's top, like when you're 16.
Okay.
Because it's tiered. The older you get, the faster you're allowed to go. Mm-hmm. And right now they're saying that those cars at that top level are running like 790s at 85 miles an hour.
Huh.
Which is hauling ass.
That's pretty quick for...
790's a pretty quick street car.
Yeah.
So I think a mid 10 is roughly like a high 6. So I would guess that's somewhere between like a 11 or 12 second quarter-mile pass if you could run it out that distance.
Right.
So that's not slow.
No.
Which is pretty cool.
So you have a 2-year-old?
I have a 2-year-old.
In 3 years, would you let him be in a junior dragster?
I think...
less than 3 years even.
So here's how... I feel like if I was going to say... You can do go-karting or junior drag racing because those are your 2 options at 5. I would feel more comfortable putting him in a drag car than a go-kart.
Right?
Yeah, that
makes sense. Start with. I would.
He's just got to go straight. Just go straight.
Yeah, all he has
hit
to
the
do
brakes.
is go straight and then not die at the other end.
Work on the light.
Right. And all you have to do is make sure you stay between the rail and that line in the middle.
Yep.
There's no turning. There's no dive bombing corners. There's no other people out there with you. Like, I don't have to worry about, even let's say my son is some kind of racing savant. At least I don't have to worry about other people's children being stupid.
Yep.
Or mine even. But so I feel like that's the safer option, even though that's the one I would, to my father's great disappointment, prefer less.
I'm with you.
I would rather him do go-karting.
But nothing says he couldn't do go-karting at like 6 or 7.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I
time.
think that age is the same spot to start for autocross, SCCA junior kart.
So you wouldn't necessarily have to go to like a karting event.
So no, I could buy that car and take him to our local autocrosses, and he could be ripping around.
Right.
So I feel like that's probably the best move. But the problem is that for junior karts, like the course design has to be more strict. The distances increase to immovable objects, curbs, lights, stuff like that. I know it's like 50 feet for normal. If they know they're going to have junior carts, I think that number has to be larger. I don't know how big. I also know that there has to be a separate safety steward that's gone through a separate class. And yeah, and there has to be a bunch of extra little things that not only do I kind of feel like being that guy if I was doing that, like if I'm the only person that shows up with a junior cart and my little kid, I'm that guy that the club has to make all these special concessions just for me. Which, you know, I'm sure most of the time they would happily do it because that's just, I mean, it's just the way.
And I'm sure it's pretty minor stuff.
Right. So the other thing that I've seen when I've read, because, you know, every time I see this come up on the internet, like on a Facebook post or something, I'll read it and just try and, because I'm concerned about it in the future. A lot of people say that you don't want the parent of the kid to also be the safety steward as the parent, because like if you are that guy, you have enough on your plate trying to keep that kid running and all that stuff. You can't, it's too much to ask of that person to be the safety steward and the parent.
So now you need a separate safety steward just for your kid.
And it's hard enough finding safety at least, you know, in our smaller local regions. Sometimes it's hard enough just finding enough people to do safety steward for the general event.
Right.
And so it poses some logistical difficulties.
Sure.
But 5 years old.
It seems really young.
It seems super young. Like too young.
I think I got my off-road go-kart when I was 6. And I for sure crashed that pretty hard. And that was not fun.
I can't remember how old I was when I got a dirt bike.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but I feel like
I was older than 5.
I feel like I was in the 6 to 8 year old range as well for my little Honda Trail 50.
I don't know.
And I also crashed that
pretty badly,
quite severely.
Of course, at the time, it probably wasn't that big a crash, but you're 6, and it feels like bad.
Flew for measurable feet over the handlebars.
Okay, never mind. You crashed it pretty good.
Yeah, so when we lived in Oklahoma, so I was 7 or 8 years old when we lived in Oklahoma, so right and around in that age that I got it, we had these like planters, these big planters out in the middle that were built into the ground. They weren't going anywhere. Previous homeowner, obviously my family didn't do flowers and landscaping, but I was coming down the hill in front of the house and smashed into one of those. And memory serves me correctly, they were 5 to 6 feet in diameter, and I cleared it. The bike stopped.
Wow.
So it might be a little bit amplified in my head.
But it wasn't good?
I hurt my neck pretty badly.
I'm sure you did.
And it was years before I was willing to get back on it.
I understand that. When I crashed the go-kart, I came back to it. But when I crashed the mini bike and had the wind knocked out of me in a way I've never had the wind knocked out of me before,
absolutely.
I was not real big on that for a long time. Until I crashed the motorcycle.
What's funny to me is that a lot of people like those Honda Trail 50s, those little bikes, that's their
starter platform.
Yeah, that's why they're addicted to motorcycles now. That's where they get in. That's where they get that bug.
Yep.
For me, it was the complete opposite.
Oh, really?
It was why I don't like motorcycles.
It might be that there's more people that don't like motorcycles because of Honda Trail 50s. They just don't talk about it because they don't have,
that might be the case.
They never bought a Harley Davidson. They never
that's
bought
possible.
a Gixxer or whatever. And you just don't hear about it unless you asked them.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I wrecked my Yamaha and was on it as soon as I could, but then when I wrecked the Buell, never was on it again. When
I wrecked the Katana, I wasn't that weirded out about it. I just didn't have the opportunity to get back on a motorcycle, and I wasn't motivated to fix that one.
Right.
So I when somebody's like, "Hey, do you want to ride my bike?" I was like, "Nah, not really." And they're like, "Yeah, you should probably ride it." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So I took it around the block and then went, "Yeah, no, I'm over this. I don't need to do this anymore."
But like at the age you wrecked that, you're old enough to understand the risk and accept it.
Yep.
And so it's a little different. Like 8-year-old me didn't understand that I could pretty relatively easily get hurt pretty badly.
Yep. Yeah, I really understand
my
what
parents
it means to get hurt.
always required a helmet and stuff like that. And but still.
Yeah, see,
I'm with you.
Mine required it. It doesn't mean I wore it.
No, I was always in.
It's there. I know where my helmet is.
Yeah,
it's not on my head, but I know where it is.
No, I always wore mine on the motorcycle at least.
No. I'm just right now. I can picture is when my sister first tried the mini bike. Got her on the bike at the end of the driveway, and just like, okay, there's no clutch. It's little. You just
go.
The further you hold the throttle, the faster you go. It goes. And you set her in first gear, and you just go. She pegs it, just
gone
straight down the driveway, across the street, and right into the evergreen.
I never understood.
Never was on a bike again.
I never understood how people get on motorcycles and they do that.
They seem to forget.
They just goose.
They can't they won't let go of it. At that point, they're like clinging on for dear life, but it's full throttle.
Yep.
But you see those videos, and I'm like, why didn't you? Okay, whatever. It's too late now.
Problem solved if you let go,
or just roll your wrist forward.
Yep.
Yeah,
no brakes,
or let go
nothing,
and grab
just
it again.
right into the tree.
A couple of weeks ago, last time I was home, back at my parents', we drug my old Honda Trail 50 out.
Yep.
And every once in a while, I'll just take it out and just ride around, make sure it still runs and stuff like that. And actually, Josh Fettis has it right now. We're going to use it as a pit bike for the Champ Car race we're doing now.
It's good use for
next
it.
weekend.
Yeah.
When this show comes out, I'll be at a Champ Car race.
Oh yeah.
Or no, that's the week after. Sorry, it's 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
But I'm just driving around, and my kid's like losing his mind because
he's excited.
Right, yeah. And so I picked him up and put him on the seat between me and just putted around at like 5 miles an hour with fifth gear. Loved it. Loved
I
it.
thought
First gear.
Doesn't he have a little, or is it a car?
He's got a little Power Wheels. We have a Lightning McQueen Power Wheels.
Okay.
And he's kind of terrified of it. He loves pushing the buttons because it has like dash buttons and it says all of Lightning McQueen's taglines, ka-chow and stuff like that. But he pushed the gas pedal once and he won't get in it. He just stands outside of it.
Presses the button.
And he pushed the gas pedal and it lurched forward and now I can't get him in it. He doesn't understand what's going on there, so it's still a work in progress, unfortunately.
Yeah, he'll figure it out though.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
But like you take him outside, the first thing he does is he runs over to a car door and he tries to open the driver's side door. And if you open that for him, he'll just get in it and just rip at the wheel. Just sits there and yanks back and forth on it and pushes all the buttons. And I mean, he wants to drive.
He's going to have to get used to his Lightning McQueen car.
I know, I'm trying, man. But he's just
just hates it.
Not there yet. He's a little skittish.
Probably not bad.
So, no.
He'll probably go from being skittish to like jumping it over ramps.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like within a
ramp
week,
it off the curb.
Like within a week, it'll go from I'm not touching that thing to I'll never get him out of it.
Full blown jackass.
Yeah.
The
minute he realizes what it is and how it works and how much fun it is, I'll never get him back out of it again.
Yeah, probably not.
It's exactly what's going to happen. I just have to get there.
So maybe you should enjoy this time.
I'm looking forward to. I already have the little mini cones and everything. We're going to learn how to slalom and
perfect.
It's going to be a deal, man. I'm excited for it.
You got enough driveway for him. He should be able to.
Yeah, absolutely. Although right now it's full of broken down cars, but working on it.
We'll figure it out. We'll go to the park.
Yeah.
There's parks in Nevada.
Apparently we lost the title of the Focus, which is super. So I can't get a guy to come pick it up. So hopefully that problem will be fixed.
Everybody always says like, it's not a big deal. You just go get another one, which I don't think
it's
that is true.
$25. It is literally you just go get another one, but it's $25. What's really annoying is the junking certificate is free, but you have to have a title for it.
Yes. And it's probably not up to date now because it's been sitting.
Oh, registration they don't care about. They don't care about registering.
Oh, for junking it, they don't care about that. Okay.
No. But so apparently you can get what's called a junking certificate. I learned about this yesterday. Okay. You can get a junking certificate from the DMV, and what that literally is you take your title, and you go in and you give them your title,
swap them,
and they give you a junking certificate, and that car can never be registered again. It's over. But when I called the junkyard, he said, it has to have either a title or a junking certificate. Because I was like, I have a registration. It has the name of the owner of the car on it. Mm-hmm. Like, I can assure you that this car is this person's. I just don't have a title for it. He said, no, I can't take that. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just get the junking certificate. No, you got to have a title to get the junking certificate.
Dang it.
Paperwork, man.
Yeah. So I'll just get the title.
It's in that safe spot you told yourself you would remember it was.
Yeah, well, that safe spot has been very
long
well
gone.
hidden because I've tore that house apart looking for it and I can't find it. I don't even know that it ever made it to my house because, I mean, it was technically Katie's, so her mom
Oh,
her mom. It was at her mom's bank, the loan, and so it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere.
Dang.
It's better just to get another one.
Yeah. So 25.
What do you have to do to prove that you are who you say you are to get the title?
I don't know.
You don't know for sure?
I guess we'll find out.
That's always a weird thing because, like, I've seen, when we were looking at muscle cars and stuff to restore when I was a kid, it was like, oh, I got this, but there's no title. So it's like, okay, like, now what do I do? Yeah. Who owns it? Do you own it, or does somebody else own it technically? Or
my understanding in the state of Iowa is they run a VIN check to make sure it's never been registered as stolen.
And then
if it's never been reported as stolen, they just give you a title.
Maybe it's not that big a deal then.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. More on that next week.
There you go. Perfect. There you go. Is that it for your opener?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Check out factorfabrication.com. Our buddies Booney and Max whipping up some rad stuff over there. Great fabricators, commercial, residential stuff. They've got some products on their website. I know they're very busy now. They were doing a home show, and they're just generally very busy, which is good. It's good to hear. Booney and crew are busy.
It's the way to be.
It is the way to be.
So, not too busy, though.
Yeah, I think he's too busy.
It's a tough spot to be.
It's everybody wants stuff done, though, because it's summer. Like, people want to do projects, and they want railings and et cetera,
Right.
A lot of building going on, commercial-wise, too. So, that's the way it goes, though. We'll be bitching about it when it's negative 20 degrees. And you're like, oh, God, I wish it was warmer outside. So,
enjoy it while you can.
Enjoy it while you can. So, anyway, many things that we did this past weekend. Everybody kind of went off and did their own thing.
Yeah.
Arguably most exciting, Adam went to Gridlife Autobahn, which was a different experience. 3. Different experience than what we've had previously.
Yeah, so we've never been to a Gridlife that wasn't a festival. None of us.
Yes. No, none of us. And we haven't been to Atlanta. We've just been to the one.
Right. So we've just been to Gingerman Festival. So I got to kind of experience track battle, which honestly I think I could make the argument for being better than festival, honestly.
Okay.
But that's neither here. First of all, I want to start with the facility, because that facility is really unique. It's a country club.
Yep.
Like, normally you have members who pay dues just like you would to a golf course, and then they have what appears to me to be essentially free reign of tracks. There are 2 tracks there, a north course and a south course, that can be configured to be a full course, which is seriously long. Robbie's got some pictures of the different configurations there. The south course is apparently the primary course for events.
Okay.
So, like, there's been a couple of other time attack functions that have been held there. Global Time Attack, the now defunct Redline Time Attack. NASA and SCCA have both been there in the past. Generally, they're on South Course. It's a little bit longer than North Course. It's fun. I got to ride with 2 guys, both listeners, Matt and Josh. One of them is a spec fit.
Oh, nice.
So all of 89 horsepower, just ripping around, and Josh is in a C7 Corvette. Which
way different,
which is interesting.
Really fast.
Into the spectrum on that one.
Well, so what's funny is they kind of break in the same spot.
It's much more.
Just happens very fast.
Just that Josh's will reconfigure your face, and Matt's just kind of feels like you're out for a Sunday cruise. But oh man, that C7 is something else, dude.
Yeah,
it's a car.
It's just the regular LT1.
So that is a base model.
Yep. Or maybe not a base model, but
it's I think it's got the Z51 package, but it's not a Z or a Grand Sport.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, it's
worth the.
It's a deal.
I mean, relatively speaking, it's not an expensive car.
No,
compared to some other things that you could buy.
What you get for it.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, for the speed that car can do, the running costs have got to be quite reasonable.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because I don't think that it has like a carbon brake package on it or anything like that, so the brake pads aren't crazy.
Right.
He runs smaller than factory diameter wheels.
Okay, so you get cheaper tires.
And I think that there's some classing rules that he had to do or something. I'm not sure what the whole reasoning for was. Maybe it is purely just cheap tires. It does look kind of funny because it's still like
sidewall.
Well, no, it looks kind of like it's monster trucking because the wheel and tire pack is just so much smaller than factory.
The wheel opening, yeah.
And so it kind of looks goofy. But, I mean, clearly it works for him. So he set a course record on South. And he very commandingly took course records at Gingerman. So it's working for him, whatever.
How do you do in the battle?
So I think he ended up, so that he's in street class, street rear-wheel drive. They ended up, the positions that they gave guys apparently were miscalculated, and they found out that like on Monday. So they had him as second place. I think he ended up third.
Okay.
Actually. He's
been doing good, though.
He has been doing very well. I'm not sure where he's at standing-wise, if he's still winning or not. If he's not, he's very close to it. So.
That's good.
But anyway, the venue. First of all, there's a bunch of like shops and stuff around it. Like racing shops and rich guy hangout pads. And apparently, if you want to buy a Radical in the Midwest, that's where you got to go. Because there's a Radical shop there.
Just like right across the street?
No, it's in the compound. Facility? It's in the facility. Like there's awesome. There's a Radical dealer there.
Wow.
Like the service shop and dealership. It says like Radical something Midwest something on the side of the building. Damn. Right as you drive in. And it's also apparently Audi and BMW host functions there. So North Course, the timing tower, the second floor, is like got this Audi executive lounge.
Okay. And
it's got these big captain's chairs that you can sit in. They're super uncomfortable, and they're more like they look pretty, but they're not functional. And then there's the whole one wall of it has a picture of an R8 on it, and it's got a bunch of like their R line cars logos, the TTRS, the RS7, stuff like that on the wall and stuff. And all the signs telling you where to go are all Audi branded and the whole 9 yards. And then there's like 12 or 13 BMWs there that were lined up in a row that had manufacturer's plates on them. Mm-hmm. Apparently, that's a thing they run there too. There was like an i8, an i4. Is that what it is? An i4? The little
i3.
one?
i3. Yeah.
i3. Then a bunch of their other cars. And then I think Robbie's got a picture of it here in front of their actual main clubhouse. That's the word. This lineup of cars, I think that those are owned by the country club. And there's like a TTRS there. There's an ATS and a CTSV. There's a McLaren at the end of the row. There's like all kinds of crazy stuff there.
So that stuff you would have access to,
right?
At some level of membership.
I think most of the time that you're there, it's supercar owners going like 4/10 around that track. I think is a majority of the people that spend their time there. Apparently, the food inside of that country club clubhouse is bomb.
I believe that.
Apparently, there's. I heard some people talking about these little steak cubes and shrimp in there that are apparently real good.
So you didn't have any?
I never got a chance to go in there. No.
I can tell you how they can afford that, if you would like to know.
If I'm not mistaken, the numbers I was given, and I don't know if they're true or not, so you can confirm.
I'm going to tell you right now if it's true or not.
I heard that it was $10,000 to enter and $5,000 a year after that. That's low.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Maybe
what's their website say?
Yeah, so
the website says the initiation fee is $40,000, and the annual dues you were pretty close, $5,250.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you had a decent amount of money, $5,200
seems like a really random number, but okay.
Maybe it went up 5% this year. Maybe it was $5,000 last year.
$40,000. So
$40,000 to enter.
The getting in the door price.
That's rough.
Country club members in good standing enjoy a refund of 20% of the current initiation fee at the time of termination. So you get $8,000 back.
Like. Just
if you quit.
If you're in good standing.
If you're in good standing, they'd probably come up with some reason to.
Yeah. It's like getting your deposit back on your apartment. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
13 months rent.
So
that's a lot of money.
when we were racing North and South course, if we were on North, it was open for members on South and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So like all day long, there were people out there like in Spec Racer Fords and Spec Miatas, and there was like an ND Miata Cup car out there, and there were a couple of open wheel, like I'm guessing like Formula 2000s, Formula Mazdas, something like that, that were running all day. I mean, it looked like there were some pretty serious cars out there too. But there are also a lot of like real rich people in their supercars. I saw an NSX just like putting around out there. I think that might be one of their cars, that NSX, because it was in that lineup the whole time we were there. But yeah, it's a deal.
I suppose when you don't like golf and you have a shit ton of money.
Also, it's gorgeous. The facility,
I believe that.
It's so nice,
like a country club.
So good, dude. My only track experiences are Gingerman and RPM.
Yeah.
Which are club level tracks. They're not anything crazy. They're not the worst facilities.
There's nothing wrong with them.
I mean, neither one of them, the bathroom, I mean, they're real bathrooms. They're not just holes dug in the ground with a building stuck on the top of it. But that one was air conditioned.
Like clean tile floor.
Clean, super nice. just so good, dude. And the showers, money.
That would have been nice.
Great places. Yeah.
Considering the shower that I used at Gridlife Midwest looked like somebody had been murdered in it. So.
Right, yeah.
Mine smelled like somebody had been murdered in it.
It brings you back to your days of like gym high school class.
Yeah.
Community showers. That was not the situation here. And also, timing towers are air conditioned, which was money this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
Perfect.
So good this weekend. Yeah, it's a cool place. It's a very cool place. They have a kart track there and a skid pad there as well. It looked to me like they did some autocrossing. I know they do some drifting. Nice. I believe it looked to me like the kart track was open to the public. Okay. I don't even want to know what that costs.
All the money.
But yeah, it's a cool place. If I had the money and I was local, I kept bugging Jabay. I was like, dude, why don't you have, like, come on, man.
Yeah, what the heck?
And his response was, I don't have this kind of money. But we all know that's not true.
Yeah, everyone knows Jabay's got all the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like 30 cars.
Yeah. Like,
how do you have that many cars if you don't have money?
Yeah.
So it was cool. So a couple of the cars that were there, or there were a few cars that were there that we didn't get to see at the festival that were really cool. The first one I really want to talk about, Defined Performance had their RX-7 out there. It's a green and black car.
So cool.
It's a four-rotor. And it legitimately is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It is such a cool sound.
I've been stalking them on Facebook or Instagram
such
for a while.
Such a cool sound. And that car could take top honors at any car show in the country. It's perfect.
As it should.
The interior is all carbon fiber.
It wins.
Giant center lock T37s. The body kit on it, I don't know if it's a replica or if it's genuine, but it looks like an old JGTC race car. It sounds great. It's very quick. It's super epic. It's the greatest thing in the world. I love it.
It's even green and you still love it.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's
That's just to show you how much he's into this car.
It's so good. So, yeah, I don't even know what times he was doing. He was not.
Doesn't matter. It's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, so apparently that the car, because it's four-rotor, naturally aspirated.
Yep.
It's like a $12,000 crank.
Oh, I'm sure.
Something
Ford,
stupid.
Something or other.
Yeah, something stupid.
Bill it.
Excuse me. But the car apparently is very difficult to run.
Like,
and
keep
he has
running?
he has like a low, a mid, and a high power tune, and he runs it most of the time on his mid power tune because the max power requires like a change in injectors and a whole bunch of other things, and it runs a fuel that is just not really an affordable thing. So he was only running like a 480 or so horsepower tune, which sounds like a lot of horsepower until you realize that RS Racing's Evo makes like 7.
It's a little bit more.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of like supercharged Vets and a Viper and stuff like that, and all those cars like from the factory make that or more.
Mm-hmm.
So, still a really, really impressive car. Very fast, very wide, very cool. And I just can't say enough about how great it sounds.
Best in show.
So good. Another car that was interesting there that we didn't get to see at Midwest. Somebody was there in a Fiat X19.
I did see some pictures of this.
That is K-swapped.
Yes.
And very angry.
Is that this thing?
It's gold. Yes.
Yeah,
that
there
guy
it
right
is.
there. There's also an engine bay shot for you, Robbie. All arrowed out. Pretty crazy. Not the fastest car in the world by any stretch, but was still super cool to see. So, I thought Michael in particular would
I can't remember
enjoy that because
if it's Midwest Bayless or who it is that runs this car. I don't remember.
I know it's an older gentleman.
Yeah, he might own a company that does stuff with.
And he had a very large
X19s.
amount of problems with his transponder, so him and Timing got to be very intimately acquainted because he was spending a lot of time up there trying to figure out.
Or
Yeah, he was a pretty good sport about it for the most part, but he spent a lot of time in Timing Tower trying to figure out why his transponders were not showing up. Like multiple transponders, multiple times, just having a lot of trouble.
that's frustrating.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, by the way, Jabay probably knows by now, but all the people that were at Midwest were getting all of your text updates.
oh really?
Yep.
I kind of wondered if that was the case.
Yep.
Because
So I was at Goodguys getting Gridlife text updates.
if you text stop to that, it'll go
I
away.
figured I text unsubscribe and it stopped, but I was
Yeah.
like, I wonder how long this will happen for, and so I left it most of the day, and I kept getting updates from people like, I actually got one that said JB report to the timing tower because your transponder's not working. I was like,
No, it wasn't
What
his
the hell?
transponder. He showed up with the Subi Speed Subaru,
yeah, right.
and he was registered as a Lamborghini Performante.
Oh,
And so he was like, well, it's got the right number. And I was like, no, it's him. Trust me. I know the guy. That's his car. Same guy. Same class, actually. Turns out.
Really?
Like a very heavily modified Subaru and a bone stock Performante, because the tire rules end up in the same class anyway.
Jeez.
But
well, it kind of makes sense though because he was against that red supercharged Corvette.
yep.
And that thing was beating up that Performante, so
Yeah.
it's not like out of the realm of consideration that
Yeah, it's a
a
track
Subaru
mod.
could be as fast.
It's a
as
track mod
Yeah.
class, and the reason that Performante is there is tire size. So, but yeah, that was kind of funny.
So yeah, I was getting all those. You must not have signed up for the text.
I never
updates.
signed up for those.
I signed up. Well, it was kind of helpful because they'd tell
It was
you
super
what was
helpful.
happening next.
Or if there were changes.
Yeah, schedule changes and stuff like that.
Nah, I just like flying by the seat of my pants.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, you didn't care anyway because you just wanted to stand on the wall and take pictures of whatever car came by.
It's
so
true. I
You,
didn't
were,
care. I
you
didn't
weren't
care.
even looking at your phone. You didn't, give
Didn't
a shit.
matter. Went all day without looking at it. It was
He found
crazy.
one.
yeah.
He found one place that he knew his camera worked well, and he was going to sit there,
Oh, I'm
whether
gonna
it was
stand here
drifting or
all
time attack or
damn
HPD.
day.
So I'm sure there were at least a couple thousand people that
They'll get
probably
over it.
had no idea what was going on and why they were getting text messages.
Is what it is.
They'll be
Yeah,
fine.
It
I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it
no, I don't know if
because
there's
they're
any way
not
to,
going to have different numbers for each event. That's not.
No, if there's a way to like
'Cause
kick,
you have to
kick
pay for
everybody
that.
off of there.
I wouldn't think that there probably is.
There's a database of those phone numbers. There's got to be a way to like purge.
Yeah,
Purge
I don't know.
everybody
I
out.
started getting them right away, and I thought, well, I was like, I wonder if like Jabay added me to this because he asked for some of that stuff, or if this is still
hangover from the first one.
Yeah, because he had to have my phone number, my email address, and stuff for the staff listing. And I kind of wondered if like I had been added back to that again, or if it was still from Festival. And that now
It
confirms
was from Festival.
That's hilarious. Oh well.
It is what it is.
Yep.
So, top honors this weekend went to RS Motors and their Evo. So that car we saw at Gridlife last year. That was the one that used to be covered in Gridlife livery.
Yep.
It's a whole new aero kit and stuff like that, and so that's why it's not that color or that scheme anymore. He beat out any previous lap record from any previous sanctioning body. That is currently the fastest production car to lap that track. South Course, minute 29.9, which is like a second and a half, I think, quicker than the previous record that he himself held anyway.
Wow.
For Gridlife, and about a second faster than the previous overall record, which was GST Racing Westvale in a very, very wild Subaru that's like literally chopped. Like the top has been chopped and stuff like that to like lower its frontals area, and it's one of the fastest cars in the country, and so being able to take that, this is the first outing of that car after it had some pretty serious reworking, new turbo kit, moved a bunch of stuff, all kinds of different things, and they kept blowing boost pipes and stuff like that and having lots of troubles, and I would be shocked if there's not a lot more left on the table in that car. So that car's stupid cool. I'm not even that big of an Evo guy. That car's really cool though. The exhaust comes out of where one of the headlights used to be. So if you look at the front of the car, which I think I have a picture of in there somewhere, one side is an intake, one headlight is an intake, and the other side headlight is an exhaust pipe.
That's kind of funny.
So there,
yeah, there's exhaust too.
So, very cool, very neat little car.
That's wild.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that car as they kind of fine tune its current state, and I'm sure it'll only go faster.
Sure,
definitely,
absolutely.
It won Super Lap Battle last year. That lap has since been eclipsed significantly by Will Young's Civic, but we'll see how the rest of the year goes for him. It's a very cool build.
Yes, it is.
So, and they're not that wildly. I mean, they're Minnesotans. They're not. In the grand scheme of things, you could almost call them locals. For us,
well, at least we know they're nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So, cool stuff.
Yep. Anything else to report from there?
What did you do while you were there?
So I tried to do announcing, but the PA system didn't work at all from South Tower because the receiver is in the North Tower. Oh. And if I could only stand in the tower, I could only stand in one spot to make it work. And even then it only worked some of the time. So I had to go downstairs and go outside and stand in the middle of paddock. And so I ended up only just making calls for run groups.
Oh, gotcha.
On Saturday because that's all I could do. Mm-hmm. And then on Sunday, I probably could have done more, but I was kind of running around like just experiencing things, and Jabay is always moving and he's never standing still, and it's really hard to announce solo.
Yeah, I believe that.
You know, especially with Time Attack, because there's not a lot happening. As much as I love it, it's very hard. Like, because
it's hard to commentate.
Yeah, you're not. And both track configurations, you can really only see maybe half of the track, even from the tower. So it's very hard to commentate on it. So, you know, I would announce anybody who's breaking records and stuff like that. And I still did what I could to like call people to grid and stuff like that, and tried to have as much fun with that as I could. It took me a little while to feel okay doing it. I felt really weird Saturday because that's just the way I am about it, you know.
And everyone's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, because I'm just some random dude, you know, like, where's Austin? You know, that was kind of what I was worried about.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Slept in my minivan.
Nice.
Yeah, that actually turned out to be a real miserable night.
Is it waterproof?
120 degrees.
I don't know, but it's certainly an incubator.
I would imagine probably terrible.
So I don't have an air mattress or a pump for my air mattress, and I didn't realize I forgot all about that till like 1 o'clock in the morning when I was getting ready to go to bed, and most everybody else there had gone to bed, and I was just like, how bad can it be, right? I'll just lay down in the back of the minivan.
People sleep in cars all the time.
Yeah, absolutely, it'll be fine. And it was like one of the worst nights of sleep in my life because it was probably 90 degrees in the van. I just laid on top of my sleeping bag and just went to sleep.
Did you actually fall asleep?
Just laid there and slept.
Yeah, I slept more than I actually thought I would, to be
If I was sweating that much, I don't know if that would have been a thing.
I was very tired. It's amazing what heat can take out of you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. There were a lot of people Sunday morning that were like Chicago locals who had gone home and showed up Sunday morning late because they went to bed and just didn't wake up again.
Jeez.
You know?
It's like, oh, shit, I was supposed to be there 2 hours ago.
Yeah, exactly. So.
No, I get you.
It was fun, though. It's a good weekend.
It sounds like it would have been a blast.
It is a lot of fun. I really would like to actually have a car there someday just because, you know, that adds to it. But it was a lot of... I was talking with a couple of guys that were doing the working stuff like that who have had cars at events like this before, and they're like, it's kind of hard to say which is actually more fun because this is way less stressful.
I can see that.
You know, you're just there to hang out and enjoy it and take it all in, and you're there with friends and you're doing whatever, but your car's not the one getting broken. You know, you're just hanging out, and it's almost arguably better.
I could see that.
Yep.
Given your guys' last weekends.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about
exactly. So,
Robbie, why don't you talk about your transmission debacle?
All right, so we can kind of bring up pictures as we do this. So, pulled it apart. What was it? The week before last. So, I had it out. Sorry, I'm in the wrong group. So, pulled it out, and then last weekend, the storm came and thought that I needed to have all my trees on the ground.
So that slowed you down a little bit, basically.
Just a lot of it.
Home ownership, man.
That sucks. Yeah, because I wanted to play lumberjack for 3 days.
Lumberjack fits you, though, Robbie.
Thank you.
I'm sure it was fun for like 30 minutes, and then it was like, you know what? No.
It was 100 asshole degrees, and then
it would have been fun in the fall.
I got to use the pick-em-up truck and fill it with logs, and then after I'd filled it once, I'm like, well, hardly made a dent.
God, Robbie, wash your truck.
I did actually after this because I spilled bar oil all over it. Oh, no. Because I filled the chainsaw with bar oil and gas, and then put the gas cap on. It's like, all right, well, let's flip it over and start it, and then
bar oil went
everywhere, all over the tailgate. No. But then the neighbors are bitching because I have a metric fuck ton of trees in my backyard, and I'm just burning it, just throwing it into the bonfire.
You're in the middle of nowhere. What's wrong with that?
So apparently it was going up the hill, over my house, into their backyard while they're trying to like lay out and swim and shit.
Fuck them.
And they're like, oh, I wish you stopped burning the wet stuff. And I'm just like throwing shit into
the wet stuff? Literally everything's wet right now.
It had been raining.
Fuck them, dude. It's fucking, you live in the middle of nowhere.
That's what I thought. I was like, I should be able to burn tires out here.
Well, maybe not that, but it's
not get carried away.
It's just regular tree wood. It's not like you're out there burning, treated boards or anything.
No, it's not nauseous fumes.
It's not dangerous.
Yeah, then the other neighbor came over. I was like, oh God, now what? And he's like carrying his chainsaw. I'm like, oh.
He came to help.
Don,
buddy.
I like you. Then he was cutting out the other tree that technically was mine, but it was on part of his yard. He just took care of it. So I had lots of trees. 3 days of that shit. And then, so I pulled the transmission last week. Tore into it today, actually, because it's 4th of July. It's really not that hard. It kind of came back to me as I was doing it, like just when I did it in college.
Right.
There's a guy on YouTube that has a really good video that basically walks you through it. Just kind of shows you what you pull off next, and then just the order. And then I also have the T56 manual, so it kind of shows everything. It's a really good gauge on whether to inspect, or when you inspect it, what's good and what's bad. So like the teeth on the synchros and stuff like that, it has like repair, reject, has some I wouldn't say pictures, they're more like drawings,
right?
That show wear. So that's the magnetic pieces in the middle. They're covered in lots of metal, just
peppered with metal,
not just shavings.
They look
chunks.
Fuzzy.
That's what they're for, though, right? They're to catch things.
They did their job. They caught lots of stuff.
I think they did all of their job. I think they have to retire now.
There's a lot of little teeth on there. So got it all apart today. The hardest part was pulling off gear, the 5th and 6th gear, because it's halfway down the shaft and it's pressed on. So I had to go to Lowe's and then buy some, I don't know, like 1/8 inch by 1 inch by 3 feet or whatever of steel, and then cut it into little pieces, and then made my 8-inch gear remover to a 14-inch gear remover. So then I spent most of the day fucking around to that before I finally pulled the 5th and 6th gear off, get that disassembled. The kit I have is, it replaced all the synchro, like the wear pieces, but the housings or the sleeves for the reverse and 5th and 6th synchros are completely toast. Like the teeth are just destroyed.
How do you destroy a reverse?
Which is really funny because first, second, there's some wear. Yeah. Not enough for me to justify replacing them, but there's some wear.
Okay.
And then 3rd and 4th are
obliterated?
No, 3rd and 4th are perfect.
Oh, really?
Fine. There's nothing wrong with 3rd and 4th at all.
I think those are the ones you'd wear.
You would think. Yeah, I sat and argued with myself on 1 and 2 for a while. I'm like, technically they're okay.
Are they expensive?
$100 a piece for a synchro.
Oh, okay.
I feel
like if I'm there and I have any question about it, but that's
it's adding up real fast.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's about I'm 600 in.
Okay.
And that's just parts.
Right.
So I ordered both the reverse synchro. Then of course they don't sell the synchros or the housings, the sleeves, because they're all a match set. So you just replace the whole thing. Well, I was like, well, I already got all in my kit. I got the synchro pieces. Well, no, I got to replace the whole thing. So I got Rock Auto was my friend until I found actual Tremec parts for less than the off-brand parts. So I went with that. Yeah, so parts for the synchros for 5th and 6th and reverse are coming. And then the rest of the stuff should be here, so I should be able to reassemble it next week. So I'm not too concerned.
Really doesn't sound like that big a deal. Kind of making it not.
I feel like if it was that hard to push 5th and 6th off, I wonder if you have trouble putting them back on. But beyond that,
nah, on should be easier than off.
I guess if you had to, you take them to somebody and have them press them.
Yeah, if I had to.
Yeah.
No, everyone says like pulling it off, but like once you get everything cleaned, and like it should go back on, no problem.
Looks like a lot of parts.
Yeah,
it's a lot of small parts in that picture.
Well, like when I watched the videos all the way through, just watched them last week, and then I also read through the manual a little bit, and then I opened the box for like all the piece parts, all the bearings and the synchro kits, stuff. I'm like,
now we got some parts going.
Oh boy,
now this might be. I'm in deep here.
I know I can do it, but at this point, would it be worth paying somebody to do it and not have to worry about it and just have it done? But no, I dug into it today, and it's not bad.
See, I was going to question if it was even worth fixing in its state, but $600 is a lot less than what you're going to buy one for. So
yeah, everything's worth like their weight in gold. I could literally sell all the good parts and make money on it. It's ridiculous what they're selling these things for. For being such a common engine,
how much is a T56 Magnum? I'm gonna look
a new one.
Like if you're just going to buy a brand new one from Tremec,
like $5,500.
Like all the monies. I saw one for $3, but I don't think it was new.
It's American Powertrain. Let's see, Tremec T56 Magnum XL. It's $3,700.
That's
Chevy Performance T56 Super Magnum, which I think is better.
It's even it has the word super.
It's got to be better.
It's not the XL Magnum, no. It's just a Super Magnum, but it's more expensive. It's $5,100.
Oh, that's an expensive transmission.
That looks like that comes with a clutch. Yeah, that comes with a clutch and a pressure plate. Yeah, that comes with everything.
Damn.
Transmission mount, shifter.
I don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need all that stuff. But
no, I knew it was. I mean, I knew 1st through 4th shifted pretty smoothly.
It's still weird to me that you lose 5th gear synchro.
5th and 6th are just thrashed in reverse.
Weird.
How do you thrash reverse at all? I knew it always popped out on me, and I didn't really give it any second thought. I was like, oh, maybe my shifter is just real stiff, and
it's not fully engaged.
Does that have a lockout?
Yeah, it does.
When you're shifting? So it's not like, where is it? Is it next to first?
It's to get it into reverse, you have to go all the way over and like
left or right?
Right, and you have to push it past this.
So it's down by 5th and 6th?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's where,
it'd be next to 5th.
Next to 5th, yep.
But you have to push. You have to push it and like, I don't know what we want.
Pop it through some gates or something.
Yeah,
and then it goes up.
Yeah. You have to.
So you're not banging 5th and 6th
into reverse. No, you're not.
Well, yeah, because I was wondering, like, did he accidentally go for reverse a couple of times when he was downshifting into first? Because that's has been
another transmission.
Yeah, maybe, like in my Omni, it's right next to first, but I have this little ring you have to pull up to get it over in there.
Yep.
But the Audi,
you could force
if you're really like slamming and downshifting. Like if you were doing track days or something and you actually had to go for first, I think you could have probably hit reverse by accident. But not in that situation.
There's no way. There's you would really have to fuck up to go.
It's weird that's what
you would have to go from 4th to reverse, and I don't think. I've always been concerned with the short shifter that maybe I could do it. It's never even been close to a concern. Like when I'm driving.
Is there like it's fairly common for some things to fail in those transmissions, right?
5th and 6th.
That's the common failure?
They just have really bad synchros then on 5th and 6th.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Yep. Yeah, I couldn't believe how thrashed they were and
so
how
did you
good
get
the other ones looked.
Upgraded parts at all? Like
just Tremec parts.
Okay.
No, I wasn't going to spend $300 for a synchro set.
Right.
Fuck that.
I know my dad. He's got a 5-speed Tremec, so whatever that is, I'm not sure what it is, but he launched it pretty early on and sent it to an aftermarket place that put heavier duty parts in it.
Yeah, they sell kits for that.
Yeah.
I don't think I would justify it. Not for what I'm doing. So yeah, transmission should be should have the parts here Monday, which means I could probably do it Tuesday. So maybe Tuesday after work, all this assemble. We can talk about it next week.
Yeah, I would like to know more about that, and if it goes together and you don't have any problems with it.
No, getting it apart was my concern, and the fact that it came apart as good as it did. Not super pumped that I had to buy 2 new complete synchro assemblies, but that's what I get for
get that.
That's what I get for buying the kit before I go through.
You're still way better off than having to buy a trans.
Yeah. No, it should be able to go back together. No problem. And then there's my comparison of the clutch from what I had versus
clutch looks good, man. It's fine. Put it back in there.
I pulled it out and showed it to Jess. I was like, do you think that got hot?
Man, that is heat distort, what do you want to call that?
Like almost so like it burned a hole through the flywheel.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The picture kind of makes it look like there's a big dent or indent in it, but it's it's just wavy,
discolored. Oh, is it actually wavy? It warped it.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's like I don't know, like slight waves across it when you rub your fingers across it. Like
but
the whole thing.
It's pretty obvious even to touch, though.
Oh yeah,
that's
it needed damage. It needed to be replaced.
That's rough. You never separated the trans from the engine when you put it in the car, did you? You have no idea what it looked like?
No.
You may have ended up replacing it at that point if you had.
I should have, but I knew I didn't have the cash to just start throwing everything at it. And I was like, well, he said it was good.
Future Robbie's problem.
He said it was good. We'll try it. Yeah, I've had a slipping clutch the entire time I've had that car.
That would explain all the heat.
Yeah. No, the weird thing was, I really noticed it. Like if I was on the highway and stayed in fifth and just got on it to get around somebody, it'd
do that. Yeah,
and then it would go
right,
and then it would smell like clutch. So it's always done that.
So while you're there, you got like a rear main seal you need to replace or anything like that?
No, that's good.
Seems to be all right. Seems to be hanging in there.
No, that's the SR20 was the one that had the rear main seal issues.
Yeah, so did my Audi.
Yeah, no, feeling pretty confident about everything. Put it back together next week, hopefully. On track to be on track on the 21st.
Nice.
Yeah, boy. Nice. I was looking at Tremec's website. You can get the new 7-speed.
Why do I need 7 speed?
I don't know. I don't know why you would.
6 seems like a lot.
I don't know why you would want
that.
So it's a TR6070.
Oh.
TR6070 is going to cost you
way too much money.
Oh, that's not that bad. $4,200.
Oh.
It's not the end of the world.
That's cheaper than a built T56.
Maybe this is the trick. Maybe you need to get a 7-speed and just not use it because it's cheaper. Because everybody's like, that's ridiculous.
Who needs 7?
Oh,
here's a used one for $1,800. That's cheap.
You have no idea what condition it's in?
Well, it's used. Who knows?
It's
from a Corvette. Obviously,
it's in good condition, like mine.
Right.
Well, that would be a
refurb.
No, it'd be a part of the transaxle, so that wouldn't be any good anyway.
That'd be worthless. Well, then,
or
you
could spend some serious fabrication time, even out some of that weight distribution. Put that transmission in the back.
No.
There's somebody locally around here has a little Lotus 7 kit that they built that has like a full Corvette drivetrain in it, so the trans is in the back.
Oh, dang.
But I think it has an Ecotec in the front.
Oh, weird.
And I want to know how he did that.
That's cool.
Because that's the greatest thing in the world.
I like it.
But apparently that car is real, and he has the motor pushed way back because he can.
Yep.
That looks like the ticket.
Yeah, that'd be good times.
Yeah.
And then on another positive note, because I'm just hemorrhaging money at this point.
You're basically just pissing money
YOLO.
away.
It's like, well, I burned up my clutch. Well, let's get a new clutch and a flywheel, and we'll rebuild the trans. Well, then we had some trees fall. Well, we'll just buy a fucking steel. It doesn't matter.
Chainsaw. What's the most expensive chainsaw you can get?
Yeah, steel. Let's go.
You bought a real chainsaw, too.
I'm only buying one.
Damn, son.
Ever buying one.
To be fair, you need a chainsaw where you live.
Yep.
And
the estate
buying
life
one's
does
probably
require a chainsaw.
Buying just one is a good idea.
It's the right way to go.
I was gonna go with the Husqvarna because they had them at Lowe's and the prices weren't terrible. And I was like, all right, well. Well, then my coworker's like, well, if you go to this place right down the street, they have steel for like $50 more.
Money.
Like a 2-year warranty.
It's more like a...
And then when I bring it in and say, hey, I fucked this up, they can fix it.
It's like a light commercial chainsaw.
Yeah, it's super nice. He compared it, goes, now the Husqvarna, it's like a 500 horsepower Mustang. It'll get you there, but you're going to feel it. Whereas this steel is like a 500 horsepower Mercedes. It'll get you there a lot more comfortably. And I was like,
that's fair.
I was like, it's not a bad comparison, and he's not wrong. I can only imagine how bad it would have been if I was
vibration from it. Oh God.
Yeah, it'd been rough. But yeah, so then since I'm still hemorrhaging money, I came across this H&H trailer yesterday, and then called him up. I was like, hey, I'll come take a look at it. He had a fair price on it, and he's like, well, I had a Camaro for this, so I have some ramps that worked really well for my Camaro, and it sounds like your car's pretty low, so you can just have those too. And I'll throw in this winch. I was like, I'll take your asking price.
And it's a tilt bed?
It's the H&H Speedloader EX, so it's a hydraulic tilt.
Power hydraulic tilt.
It's a fancy trailer.
And then he added a diamond plate rock guard. It's really nice.
It looks really nice.
How long is it? 20 feet?
18.
18 feet?
18.
That's all you need. You just got to put some.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe a toolbox on the front.
Yeah, there's room for a toolbox if I decide to go that route. But yeah, I mean, they got the whole truck with it every time I.
Do you know what weight rating is on the winch?
4,000 pounds.
4.
Yep. So yeah,
it's enough to pull
your car back on there when you break something.
Yep.
Like your clutch.
So. Yeah, I told Jess, like, yeah, we can go look at it. So I went and looked at it, and then just brought it home, and then was like, hey. You want
to go look at it?
She's like, are we going to go look at that? I was like, you are definitely going to see it tonight. You're definitely going to see it.
I'll show it to you later.
She gets home. She's like,
dumbass.
You're just like my dad and your dad.
Oh, well.
I think everybody's dad's like that, buying stuff they're not really necessarily not supposed to, but...
I was given permission, but it wasn't like, go get it.
Right.
Yeah, it was... I know what
Let's
you mean.
look at it seriously.
Let's think about it.
If it's right, we'll talk about it. Not just show up at home with it.
Not just bring it back with you. Nerd.
No, I'm super pumped about it. So I'll bring...
it's good.
Now I can bring the 240, the truck, all the extra crap for the autocross, so I should have everything we need. Oh, and I went to Harbor Freight and I bought a transmission jack. So then when I was there, I bought a tow strap. Used that to haul logs all across my yard.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow, you did spend some freaking money this past week. Jesus, Robbie.
I'm so poor.
I was going to say, you're fresh out now.
No more money.
Tapped. Don't ask for anything.
There's no money in the banana stand.
It's gone. All that money's gone.
Yep.
At least the wedding's paid for, right?
Yeah.
It's cheap wedding, too.
It is a super cheap wedding.
That definitely
We
helps.
are doing it as cheap as possible.
You already bought the house, so...
House is being paid for.
Well, yeah. Is that it for your weekend?
Yeah, I don't think I spent any more money on anything else.
So I wanted to say one more thing because the 7-speed Corvette thing reminded me of this.
Yep.
There was a guy there with a Z06, C7 Z06 running in track mod. And we were walking, they had an oil down. So I was walking down pit lane, just letting everybody know, like, hey, it's going to be a few minutes. This is where the oil is, so keep an eye out for it as you're coming into that corner, because of course it's Time Attack A group, so it's the fast guys.
Yeah, of course.
And he's sitting in his C7, full containment seat and the whole 9 yards. Sitting in his C7, he's got last session's laps playing on his video screen with all the data overlay and everything on his video screen in the middle, just like going over.
Wow.
And I was like, that's brilliant. This guy's like checking the footage, right? Like, where can I go faster? Play by play here.
Man.
Hilarious.
I like that.
It's a reason to get a Corvette right there.
It was pretty cool. It was very cool. So, because that live overlays that for you.
Yep.
And then we'll replay it back on that screen as you're sitting in the car.
Whoa.
With your air conditioning.
Yeah.
And your radio.
Yep.
Yeah, you can listen to your lap and surround sound.
You could.
It was funny to like walk down pit lane because you'd have like the guy in the vet and Josh and his vet, and there was a guy there in a brand new Viper, and like they all have their windows rolled up.
Yeah,
and they're
chilling.
And then there's like other people that like have their friends like pumping the door up and open and shut for them, trying to blow air in their face and stuff like that, or like somebody with like a fan like standing in front of the guy just blowing air into the car because they're dying inside these things.
What was that high temp there?
I believe that with humidity we beat north of 110.
That's too hot.
That's awful.
It was
way too hot.
I didn't really want to check, but it was forecasted with heat index to be 110 to 120 degrees.
That's rough.
It's too
And
hot.
I know that a sizable number of people at the NASCAR race down the street ended up in the hospital.
It doesn't surprise me.
And there was one guy who posted on Track Midwest about the fact that he almost didn't make it home before he passed out from heat issues Saturday.
Wow.
So it was rough. It was very rough.
It sounds like it.
But yeah.
I was telling some other people, there's not enough cool shit in Iowa for it to be this fucking hot here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's no mountains. There's no
there's
ocean.
no reason
Right.
I need to live here.
Right. It's just like, it's flat. It's mostly flat. The roads are straight, and it's ridiculously hot here.
It's not. There's nothing
Can't go to the
that
beach.
makes me want to be here in the summer or the winter.
I can't go to the
and yet I
mountains.
still don't leave.
I'm feeling that. I was feeling that this past weekend.
Yeah.
Because I went to Goodguys, and Robbie's already showed the picture of the hot rod that was nearly underwater. But during the day, it was hot as shit, and there was, I don't know what it is about the fairgrounds, but there's like nowhere to get away from it.
Yeah,
I mean, you can go out in the trees.
You're in the sun at all times.
You're in the sun. You're on that tarmac. It's just hot. It's super hot. But yeah, so I took the Fiat out there because it's eligible this year, 74. First thing I will say, I would say less than 5% of cars that were there were newer than 1972.
So less than 5% that were newly eligible this year.
Correct.
Okay.
It seemed like it was the same show. Every once in a while, you just saw something
Like
slightly
there was like a more second gen Camaros and like maybe a couple G bodies.
Yeah,
A Fox body just
early-
thrown in
yep.
for good measure.
Yep. There was actually, funnily enough, there was a Mustang 2 in my camping area.
That's too bad.
But it was the Cobra one, and they're not
well,
nearly
that's-
as offensive. It was kind of cool.
It's not as offensive, but simultaneously it's almost more offensive because there's
It's like a Cobra, but it's really slow.
But they're also like almost over the top.
You know what sucks about that is the Mustang
with the-
2s are really small, and they have a V8, so they should be cool.
Right.
Yeah. That's
So-
I kept looking at it going like, it should be cool.
There's
but it's
there's
not
one that
cool.
like runs around my neighborhood. I'm pretty sure it was my next door neighbors, and he sold it to somebody else, who's now sold it to somebody else who got it running.
So this is the Nevada Mustang
Yeah,
too?
so it's running around my area now, and they decided to put some like really low offset aero wheels on it that are way too wide, and they literally stick out like 4 or 5 inches outside of the fender on the back.
Yeah.
I'm just, what are you doing, man?
It's Mustang 2, man. It's fair game to do what other weird shit you want to do.
It's so bad.
Yeah, that's I think the one that was next to me was the reverse color scheme to that, but that's basically it right there.
That chin spoiler though, man.
And it
bottom
looks,
tooth.
I will say in person, it looks better than that, but it's still not like great. And I think he had different wheels on it, which probably helped.
Yeah,
The wheels
think
look a
you
little weird.
could do something with that.
I think they're really like relatively low production.
I think it's
I
a
don't
rare
think there's a
car.
ton of 'em.
No,
I mean, I don't know if that's because no one bought them or if they were supposed to be.
I think it was that time where nobody wanted to buy a car like that because you wanted a Datsun or something because the fuel was so expensive.
Is that getting into the fuel crisis? I don't even remember.
Yeah,
when
that
those
would have
were
been.
made.
Yeah, I think the fuel crisis would have been 73 on
Okay.
that time frame. And then cars obviously got a lot smaller.
Yep.
But, well, obviously emissions changed a lot, so cars got smaller.
That
But then
too.
there was a fuel crisis, which maybe was a little bit later than that, 76. But, yeah, it would have been right in that era. But
A bad time all around.
bad time for automobiles. But it did create the Omni, to be fair.
It did. It did.
The Omni is a result of a lot of changes in the American car market.
Yeah.
Lee
Absolutely.
Iacocca, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I pulled in the autocross a little late, just because there was a lot of stuff going on in the morning. So I pulled in there around 9. Went in there, got teched. A lot of cars there, a lot more cars than previous years. I don't know if it was we could probably pull it up and check, but I don't know if it was like 80 cars. It was quite a bit because they have the pro team, the pro guys that run the tour, and then they've got people that are in different classes, but just for the Des Moines event, and you're kind of separated. So the pro guys can kind of come in and out real quick.
Were there any pro cars there that were 72 and above? Like, is there anybody that showed up with a pro car that was?
I think it was all the same pro cars as the previous
I kind
year.
of wondered if that would be that way for a couple of years at least.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if anybody could like definitively decide this is a better chassis for us to start with.
The development dollar and stuff like
maybe
that.
It doesn't really matter. But so anyway, I pull in, do the tech thing, and if you look really closely at that photograph, you will see the car sitting next to me was actually owned by Robert Kibbe. So it was the podcast corner.
There you go.
So I got to meet Robert Kibbe finally. He does the muscle car place. Yes, the muscle car place.
And then Kibbe and Finnegan.
Kibbe and Finnegan. So he knows, obviously, Mike Finnegan.
Good friends with him.
Yes. So we talked a little bit. I didn't. So the way that works out there is the pro guys do their runs. Everybody just does one run. So the pro guys do a run, and then you go down this kind of alleyway full of cars, probably like 50 cars. You go up one side, down the other side, and it's just a matter of when you showed up that day. So if you're first in staging. You know, if you come in second, you're second, so on and so forth. Since I'd come in a little bit later, I kind of went to the end. But all they do is they just run through that. So they go through all the pros, they run up and down that lane, they go back and do the pros, they go run up and down that lane, and then everybody's classed during tech, you know, so that's how they figure out your classing. But it was a super tight course, which is kind of interesting considering the cars that are there for the most part.
They really try to make those tight courses to keep the speeds down.
They do, but then I don't want to hear them bitch when Josh Fettis shows up on Sunday and gets Jones gets the fastest time of the day in his
Bone Stock Fiesta ST.
Yeah, just saying.
2 years in a row.
2 in a row.
Don't get all upset when a tiny car wins because
a hell of a driver.
He can navigate through that more easily than some other cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hot. There was a lot of cars, so I didn't get a ton of runs. The interesting thing about that experience is I didn't feel like I really got to see the rest of the show. So it was kind of a different thing because there's not a schedule. It would be nice if there was a schedule because then you would know when you're going to go next. Like if they could break it out and say like, okay, this class goes then, and this class, run groups or classes or something like that. Then at least you could kind of time it out. But so it might be an hour or an hour and a half between your run. So like, where do you go? Like, do you leave? Do you go watch the show? It's usually like you do your run and then you go back to camp and get some water because it's freaking hot, and then you come back and you wait a little bit, and then you do your run, then you go get something to eat. And so I didn't feel like I got to see a lot of the show. Just kind of hung out over there. I made like one tour through the Varied Industries building because I was like getting too hot because it was definitely too hot.
Good place to cool down.
Good place to cool down because it's got air conditioning. But so yeah, that was. I don't have much to report on that experience. It was just a different way to do Goodguys. I think I set a decent time. I felt like I really got one good run in because first run was the learning run, and then my second run I set a decent time, and then on my third run I tried my gear change strategy. I changed it, and I thought it was better, but it was actually a little slower. And then at that point they were going to do like the pro bracket at 3, and it was 130 or 2, and I didn't think I was going to get a run again, so I just packed it up.
So it's been more than a year since you've autocrossed, probably.
Did
you make? I know you made like one of the
great
first. I know you made one of the first events last year at Adventureland. Is that the only one you made last year?
I may have only done one event last year. I can't even remember. Yes, so it's probably been
over.
It would be getting on like 15 months since I've autocrossed. I did not realize
it's now officially a year since I've autocrossed as well. So that's kind of a bum deal, but
yep.
Yeah, so being rusty is kind of expected.
Yeah, I didn't feel super rusty. It was more like because their track format's way different. They cone everything and they do lines, but the way that they lay out some of their hairpins is weird. I don't know. It's
not
just
good.
No, not really.
I don't like the way they do their course design. It's sea of cones, which for someone who's used to autocrossing is, in my opinion, more difficult to navigate.
I think they could reduce their cone usage by like 80%, which would make their life a lot. They could still go through it. They should line the course. I like that. But then they could do like SCCA style cone setup with boxes and pointers and stuff.
Yep.
And I feel like or they could even like cut their cone usage in half, and it would be better.
Or they could, maybe they even do, Like what the Corvette Club does, where you have an orange cone and a green cone.
Yeah,
the orange cone is always supposed to be on one side of you, and green cone is always supposed to be on the other side of you.
But here's the thing: they don't explain any of that.
No,
they just they literally just tossed me out there, and it's completely different because you have to stage.
Yeah.
So there's people telling you where to go, and so the entrance and the exit are the same. So like you could potentially you're not in the way to the point where someone would run into you, but you could be in the way and like stop the whole thing because the guy can't get off the track. And then you go up and you stage like it's a drag race.
Yep.
To set their timer ready to go. And then, but like nobody explained anything of this to me, so I just went out there and I'm like, well, I know there's a stop box, so I know I'm supposed to stop over there, and I don't know how this starter works, so I'm just going to pull up here. There's a green light
that comes on, that's all I can remember.
Yeah, so you have
a stage and a pre-stage like tree.
You have a tree, and then that. Yep, and you get a red light, and then you just sit there until it goes green, and you don't have to go when it goes green. You go
right. You go whenever you're ready.
Yeah,
because you break the beams.
But then it's like, I mean, once I got out there where I could maybe see it from the outside, I was like, oh, there's green cones. I don't really know what they mean, but I figured it out once I got out there.
Yeah.
And you can't see the course, and it's like not written down, and you can't walk it as far as I know. So it's like it was like, okay, here we go.
What kind of frustrates me about it is that, like, you see, especially at our event, at our Des Moines stop, there's a lot of cars that are quite local that you don't see at autocross events the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And like, the frustrations you've talked about, I feel like a lot of those don't exist if you would show up at a local SCCA event. Like things are more readily explained. It's a little bit easier. Your run times are better. Frankly, you'll probably get more. You'll for sure get more runs in. And I kind of wonder if that turns some of these people off towards going to a local event.
I think it would help if because I would say a lot of these people are probably new, not as much as it used to be, but I would still say a lot of people are novices. So if, there was there wouldn't even have been a driver meeting. I just showed up and went
there
out
is
on
no
track.
Drivers meeting.
So
there's no drivers meeting. Because they can't really have a driver's meeting the way it was originally set up, which I think they need to change personally. But the way it was originally set up, it's part of your entry fee.
Yeah.
It's part of your admission. And literally any car that is there is eligible as long as you can pass a tech inspection.
Yep.
And if you so choose, I think, like 5 years ago, the only cars that really, really raced there were the pro cars. And if you're like walking around the show and you stopped in the autocross, you're like, man, that looks like kind of fun. Maybe I want to try this once. You could go grab your car, be through tech and on track in 30 minutes. And, you make a run or two and like, okay, that was cool. Now I'm going to go park my car back in the show and I'm going to carry on with my day. Mm-hmm. But that's not how it is anymore because of the popularity increase. And so now it's time to change the way that it's ran. I don't necessarily know that they should make it an additional admission fee, but I feel like you either need to be there for the autocross or you need to be there for the show. You can't really be there for both. And they need to have a driver's meeting. They need to explain some of this stuff. They should have run groups, stuff like that. It needs to be ran more like a traditional race.
Maybe if you don't want to have it too structured, like have a morning driver's meeting, and then if you show up after that, just say like, hey, we need you to go to the afternoon one. You can start, but here's a couple rules you need to understand, and then we would really like you to go to the afternoon one.
Well, the guy who's doing the tech could walk you through a 30-second driver's meeting. At least give you the basic rules. Make sure you stop before this, pull up to the light, get both of those lights on the top to light up. When the light goes green, you can start any time after that.
Yep. I just figured all this out after watching.
Keep your cones.
Literally watching Kibby
orange cones to the left, green cones to the right, or whatever that is.
Yeah, I didn't
make sure you're not blocking the exit. Like, that could be taken care of in 30 seconds.
That would answer half your questions.
Yeah.
If not all of them.
And make it a lot less frustrating for someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, if you were brand new, you'd be screwed. I don't know what you'd do.
Because I think that a bad experience at Goodguys would turn you off to going to a local SCCA event, and that's too bad because most of those frustrations wouldn't exist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be different. Plus side is you don't have to work, and you can leave. You didn't pay for that, so you can leave.
Yeah. Well, but even like that would turn me off towards going to like a Corvette club, and that you don't have to work either. But
sure,
if I feel like, well, I spent all this time and I only get 2 runs or whatever I end up with, like that sucks. And I was confused, and nobody seemed to want to help me. And
yeah, they may just have to change it. I mean, I'm sure they've probably run into this somewhere else where it's too big.
I don't even think that this is like the biggest event.
No, that's what I mean.
I think it's an average Goodguys size.
I'm sure they've had an event where like 200 people want to autocross and they all want to do it at the same time, you know, and they all want to be there all weekend.
That's why I think you have run groups, and as those fill out, too bad. This is how many cars we can put through it. If you want a spot, you need to register.
Well, it's just like if you want to have a spot on
it should be part of registration.
Well, I think you should do that, but I think you should also say like, hey, if you want to do this autocross, here's the spaces that we have. You got to be here at 7, 6 a.m., whatever. Right. If you want to, like, how bad do you want to do this?
Yeah, it should like if it could be a checkbox on pre-registration that you fill out before you even go to the event. Are you going to autocross? Yes.
So, anyway, I did it. Probably won't do it again, just because it's like a lot of work.
It is.
I mean, normal days
Sunday
are a lot
kind
of
of
work.
worked a little better because there weren't as many cars in there.
Really, there's less cars on All American Sunday. I thought it'd just be a shit show on.
Well,
Sunday.
I think so because none of the cars that were there on Friday and Saturday seem to go in there on Sunday.
I guess the pros probably don't run on.
The pros don't run as much. They still do a couple of runs, but I don't think they run as many.
So they're not competing, so they're not as incentivized to be there. So that helps.
Well, I mean, I think they still make runs, but yeah, I think some of them are probably gone, and some of them have parked their cars in their booths instead.
Yep.
And even if they are running there, I think they only do like twice instead of like 10 times.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, honestly, I'd have to look at the timesheets to see how many runs they actually got on Saturday, but I don't know, 4 or 5 is probably all.
Right.
So, anywho, it's a different Goodguys experience. I appreciate them contacting us for media stuff, but it was just
super cool.
So appreciative of that, and yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll change some stuff next year, do something different, and I don't know. I said last year I wasn't going to do it this year, and I'm going to say this year that I'm not going to do it.
We'll see
next year. So I always forget that it's really freaking hot, and it's so busy in there. And every time you try to drive around anywhere in there, your car overheats because it's so damn hot, and everybody's talking to people, and you're going 2 miles an hour, and there's no air flowing through the radiator. Oddly enough, for me, that's the major deterrent is that the cars overheat.
Yeah.
Because nobody's moving fast enough.
That's why, that's not really a thing on Sunday, and I'm telling you, Sunday's where it's at, apparently. I've never had a car there not on Sunday because my car's never been legal for any day except Sunday.
I think I've only gone one Sunday.
And it's way less busy that day. All around. The show is quieter. The racing is quieter. The driving is much easier. So.
Anywho, should we move on to some news?
Yeah.
First item is Alpha's killing the 4C coupe in the United States. Just the coupe in just the United States and Canada.
Yeah, North America.
I like the coupe.
The Spider looks weird.
It needs a top.
I like the coupe a lot better.
Yeah.
Needs a top.
Yeah.
Needs a hardtop.
Yeah.
So
I'm not really. They must have some sales data that they're selling. Twice as many Spiders as they are coupes.
Well, did they?
I'm sure they're not selling a lot.
Didn't the coupe come out earlier than the Spider? Pretty sure that's the case. I think that the coupe and the Spider were not side by side launched.
Yep.
And so the coupe has sold longer here, which means that the people who are going to buy one probably have. And so maybe they're hoping that if you sell both cars the same amount of time, then maybe they sell similarly that way. Yeah. I don't know.
There's been a theory that they're going to kill this thing anyway in the United States. So
I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been killed.
You don't see very many of them, and they're kind of expensive.
I was just about to look up if there's any used ones for sale. Ooh, 45,000. That's not that bad. 9,000 miles.
There was one at Gridlife this weekend.
43,000.
Still seems high.
Well, there's 55 for the base coupe, I think, and 65 for the convertible or something in that.
Yeah.
In that price range.
I mean,
if you're going to spend $60,000 on a car, this isn't very high on my list.
I really, really like this car.
I do too.
And I really, really like the design philosophy.
As do I.
I'm still with you on that one.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love this car.
I'd probably...
It's not high on my list to buy, though.
I mean,
which is weird, Robbie, because it's an entire carbon fiber tub car.
It's the cheapest car you can buy that's built top to bottom in carbon fiber.
Yes.
But I feel like, and I don't even want to say this, but I feel like a Corvette would be a way better car.
It'd be a much better option. Or even like a $60,000 Lotus is a hell of a car.
Yeah.
Or a $40,000 Lotus.
I think this is a good bit faster than an Elise.
Yeah, I think this is more car than a Lotus. I would rather have this than a Lotus.
An Evora, maybe, but an Elise, no. Or an Exige might be right on that line. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm not sure where those cars are at as far as... Can you even buy them here anymore? New
Lotus?
ones? New Exiges?
It's definitely not advertised.
I have no idea.
Surely you can buy them somewhere. I bet you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lotus as an entity is a weird deal because they're always on the verge of not being a business.
But they've been on the verge for like 50 years.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like where you know, maybe the problem is people don't know if you can buy one still. Maybe that's their whole business problem is that nobody really knows if they're a company.
I've never seen a Lotus dealer. I'm just saying.
I don't think I have.
They're in Illinois.
I'm sure if you went to Chicago, you could buy a Lotus from somebody somewhere in Chicago.
Relatively though, like an old Elise is going to be $30,000. You know what I mean? Like a 2000.
Yeah. So for like another
or 8 Elise,
even if you want to be like, well, I could build an Elise. Like it would take a lot less to build an Elise to be every bit as good or significantly better than what it would cost for you to just buy a 4C.
Yes.
And it's not like they're comfortable cars.
No.
They're definitely not comfortable.
And when you get in that seat and you look in the center stack and you see that radio, you're just like, man, that's $60,000's a lot of money for a $30 head unit I bought at Walmart.
You know what's really bad though is I'm looking at them on eBay right now and I'm seeing that they'll on those radios they have clear plastic and then they've got black coating over the top of them. Right. Apparently that doesn't last very long.
Shocking.
So you would need to work that into your budget of throwing that away, like punching it across the garage.
You crash this once and it's toast.
Oh, they'll write it off. I bet the insurance on it sucks.
Yeah.
It's a 2-seater carbon fiber car.
Yeah. Like if you, even just like a...
I don't do that.
You know, a light tap can probably crack some major carbon fiber piece of the chassis and it's over.
Yeah. Plus, what's the servicing cost on this thing?
All of it.
You know they're going to rip you off just because it's a $65,000 Alfa Romeo. So it's going to be much cheaper to own the Corvette by like a wide margin. Because you could service it yourself.
They're similarly priced, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's the exact same price.
Like a new C7.
C7, yes. It's the exact same price.
Yeah. And it's
a no-brainer.
But the hard thing is, like, I really love stupid decisions when it comes to automobiles. I might still buy.
But what's weird about this is that it's not that. I don't think it's any faster, which is really weird.
Corvette?
Yeah.
Like, hell no. I don't think it's anywhere close to as fast as a Vette.
Oh yeah, dude. They're about the same. Track lap records. That might be a different story, but like 0 to 60 time, they're very similar.
Yeah, maybe they're
similar. Not, I mean, we're talking. So like the Corvette's 3.9 seconds, and I think the Alfa Romeo's 4.5 or something like that.
Right.
So it's not significantly different.
Right.
It's within. I will say it's within a second, which I realize is a long time, but these are two very different cars. One of them has a 1.7 liter 4-banger in it. The other one's got a V8 in it.
Yeah, they are radically different.
They're just very different.
That's why it's hard to compare.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But
I would really, like if I had $65,000 and I was going to dump it all on one car and it was going to be a track day toy too, I would really, there would be days of deliberation, I think.
So I know that this is not very good way to compare it, but just looking at, because there was a 4C in street rear-wheel drive at Autobahn, and there was a C7 in street rear-wheel drive.
Perfect.
The 4C South Course ran a 140.7. Let me find here real quick. Joshua's time. Of course, it doesn't show me that right on the top here. Where are you at? I think he was like a 34.
So there's a 6-second difference.
So there's a 6-second delta. Now, granted, maybe Josh and the guy who were in the 4C, there's just like a huge driver difference. You know, that's not a very good comparison. And I don't know, maybe he was running on shit tires or you know, whatever. or maybe he knew he wasn't going to be in podium contention, so he wasn't full sending his carbon fiber car just to take 6th or whatever it is that he ended up in. I don't know, but there's a lot of...
In that case, the Corvette was faster.
Yes.
Which I think, same driver, you'd get a similar outcome.
I still think the Corvette would come out on top, but by how much, and is it worth... Because I really like weird stuff. And this is about as weird and funky as you can get.
It's right up there.
It's a little mini supercar.
If you're going to buy a new car, this is about as weird and eccentric as they come.
It's a little mini supercar.
Yeah.
It's mid-engined. Engine's behind you.
I would even go as far as to say this is in my opinion, the coolest car you can buy under $100,000.
It's probably true. Yes. Robbie does not agree with you.
Robbie's
being Mr. Carbon Fiber. He doesn't.
I'm just trying to think of what car I would buy else, but
I mean, if you were just like, I'm doing track days with this thing. I just want a track day car that's as fast as it can be, and that is just going to be cheap and repeatable and great. It's probably not the car you're looking for.
Yeah, I was going to say cheap.
That's not where I'm at. Most of the time,
I'll take the weird one.
Yeah. Oh, this one's going to break down every other track. Pick me, please. Send it my way. I need that one.
It's easy
just a real pile of junk.
It's easy to transport, so that's good. That's a plus.
I feel like
that'll fit on Robbie's trailer really well.
I just want to drive it.
2 of those suckers on my trailer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's gonna be nice and light. You won't even realize it's behind the Avalanche.
It's like
Robbie. It's the same color as the Avalanche.
It's basically a better mid-engine Miata.
That's more comparable to me. It's a $60,000 Miata. And when you
put rough.
And when you put it in that context, it's a $60,000 carbon fiber Miata. And when you put it like that, I'll take the Corvette all day long.
It's not a Miata though. It's
the same wheelbase.
It's the okay. This car's the same length as this car. It's the same.
They're the same.
Well, it's the same general look to it.
It's probably the same. It's probably similar wheelbase to like a McLaren 540 too. But that doesn't mean that it's the same car.
Yeah.
This is visually, this is closer to Miata than is. I don't know what else you want to compare it to. Like when you walk up to
man, that hurts.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
So bad.
The engine's not even in the same spot. The layout.
When you saw this at the State Fair, or did you also say State Fair?
I went and saw one in the dealership.
When you saw this for the first time, your first comparison wasn't to a Miata?
No, it was to a Lotus Elise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the hood is shorter. The hood's shorter.
Yeah, it's got
looks
no
for engine.
overhang.
It's got vents in the rear, so you know the engine's in the back somewhere.
Yeah, I'm with Michael on this one. That's the Lotus Elise.
The way the windshields are on mid-engine cars are different.
That is it's probably more comfortable carbon fiber Elise with a turbo.
It's a turbo, yeah.
It's all the things I want in my life. And a terrible radio from the 90s.
A really bad radio.
Is it literally an Alpine?
Yeah, look at the...
bitch.
Calm down over there with your Zoom.
Fucking computer.
He broke it.
Oh,
We'll just wait. No, it's fine. We'll wait. He's trying to prove a point.
He managed to get 2 pictures. Jesus Christ.
Somebody's done this. All right, so prove your point here, considering the fact that windshields are in completely different places.
So different.
It's not even close to the same.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's not even close. Look, the driving position's farther forward.
I feel like you could make this comparison to just about everything. If you put like an S13 trunk there, it'd look the same in that.
I mean, this is closer to a Corvette. It's a much better track car. What the fuck would I know?
Actually do that. Take the Miata and replace the 4C with the Corvette in that picture. That'll look exactly the same because
absolutely.
Proportionally are going to be the same.
Absolutely. How did he do that?
Because I'm not the only one to make that comparison.
Is that a picture?
Yeah,
that you found.
Yes. Oh my God. It was for those that aren't watching. It was a Miata and a Corvette and a 4C right on top of each other.
But I'm just saying, like when I first saw the 4C, my first thought was, that'd make a good autocross car because it's small like a Miata. Not, it'd make a great track car.
What is that on the left?
That's a Miata.
It's an NA.
Oh, it is.
And
it's
C5.
It's the only picture I could find of the
They
Corvette.
look the same to me. I can't. That's why.
They both have pop-ups. They're the same car, right? Right? Based on Robbie's wheelbase comment. If they both have pop-ups, they're the same car.
No, they look to be the same wheelbase to me too. Same wheel size.
They're just cute little autocross cars.
Probably same horsepower.
C5s are great autocross cars.
I guess, whatever. Move on, please.
Fiesta ST will last for 1 more year, and they're adding something called the ST line package.
That's so stupid.
It's
Ford and their stupid names.
So it's
only
like
someone that sold desks for a period of time could come up with something.
This is like what Chevy did with
ST
the
line.
SS at the end.
Just threw it on everything.
Well, the Cobalt, you could buy a Cobalt SS trim package that didn't have the motor. It just looked like the fast car, but wasn't.
Oh, I didn't realize this. You could be
Yeah,
swindled.
so the last couple of years of Cobalt SS, you could buy with the base motor, but it looked like an SS. So it had the wheels and the wing and the badges, but it didn't have the motor.
That's not good.
Same thing with this car. It has the slower motor, but it looks like an ST.
So you can get, if you would like a 2019 Fiesta ST, you can get one with the good motor and all the other bits.
Yep, they're not killing it yet.
And that costs what, $32,000?
No, 23,000,
like
22.
Am I backwards in my head?
You're thinking of like the Focus probably, which is I think is going to be dead.
That was kind of what I gathered from this whole thing, was that the Focus is deadsies.
So Focus in general is dead, right?
I think so.
Except for the weird one, the C-Max or something.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway,
goofy looking.
So you can get a Fiesta for ST for 1 more year, and then you're going to be able to get this ST line, which is exactly what Adam just described. It's just body work. And the NA engine with a 5-speed even, which sounds just terrible.
You can also get it with an automatic, though, which you cannot get in the actual ST.
So if that's what you're up to, then...
all the looks.
I hope that they don't sell any of those.
Well, the worst part is that they're calling it the ST line. So
which is confusing. It's because the ST line is all the STs,
right?
Which I guess
so
are dead now.
It's a bad
so it doesn't
name.
matter.
It's terrible.
Why would you, if you're going to kill off all your cars? Why would you come out with this? They must have like stacks of body kits that they have to use.
Probably, yeah.
They're like, oh, we're going to make
contract they have to fill out.
We're going to make this till 2020, and then they went, oh shit, we're killing all these cars, so we better make some. Cars with some body kits.
So basically what this amounts to is that 5 or 6 years down the road, there's someone who's going to be in the same boat I have been in multiple times, where they're cruising Craigslist and they see a suspiciously cheap Fiesta ST, in my case, Cobalt SS, and they're like, oh,
nice.
Finally, my day has come. Click. Nope. Wrong car.
Damn it.
It angers me so much. So many times, Robbie.
No, I get it.
So yeah, if you run across a Fiesta ST with a 5-speed
and the price is too good to be true,
or an automatic, run away. It's not your car.
Well, the logo's got to be the same, but it's going to have like a little thing on the bottom.
So they have different wheels. The line has a different wheel package.
You could replace the wheels.
Yeah, so there's already a market for, because that's like the first thing any ST owner does is replace their factory wheels, which means there's a ton of stock wheels floating around, which means they're all going to end up on the lines.
Oh yeah.
Actually, come to think, isn't this exactly what Audi did?
Yeah, because now you have the S line, which is
so dumb.
And I believe that you can get R line stuff from Volkswagen as well.
Oh Jesus! It's like what does BMW do? They do it's like
so then there's
it's like an M trim package, but it's not an M.
So there was like the 235i or the 235M. They put the M at the end of the word.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the fast car, but not quite the fast car. They did that. Yeah, that's a thing.
So
that's a decent car.
The M Sport trim line.
There you go.
M aerodynamic kit, seats, colors, steering wheel, blah, 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 but you don't get
the speed.
Yeah, so it's the BMW 335i M Sport. M Sport, that's what it is.
M Sport, yeah.
At least make it something totally different.
Right?
Like, it's the FU line. Because it's slow.
Because we're stealing your money.
Yeah. Well, it's only like $3,000 less, isn't it?
You know what it is? It's like factory rice.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
It's the guy that wants to put all the M shit on his, 530, but the factory did it for him.
Right.
And he paid him for it. And he's a sucker.
I just can't believe that they're doing this to so many cars. Yeah. See, I didn't even think about that. You can totally buy like every Audi you can buy is an S-Line.
S-Line. Which
looks like the fast car, but isn't.
But it's still an A4. It's not an S4. It's
right.
An A4
it's an A4 S-Line.
It's really dumb. It's really annoying.
And you can buy, I'm pretty sure you can buy Golfs as R-Lines or something like
terrible.
that.
I pictured
you can get like a Passat R line, which means absolutely nothing.
Right.
I mean, it's it's like 165 horsepower. It's completely meaningless.
Yeah.
It really makes me mad because I was like, oh, cool. There's going to be a fast Passat again because I know some people didn't like them, but GLI. I thought it was cool. I was like, a fast Passat would be, pretty sweet or whatever. No, I literally just looked it up. It's 174 horsepower. Like that's
awesome. That's so fast.
184 foot-pounds of torque.
That's not enough for a modern day car.
Well, yeah, because they claim it weighs 3,300 pounds, but I would be surprised. That does not seem like enough.
That's a dry weight.
Passats are,
it's not a small car.
Big.
Decent sized car.
Almost the size of the Genesis, probably. Similar size.
Yeah, it'd be close.
I don't know that well, maybe.
They got the Jet, or do they even have Jettas anymore? Does VW even make cars anymore? Or they just manufacture lies?
They're
They definitely do that.
Hold on a second.
They're the largest automotive manufacturer in the world, so I'm going to go with yes.
Just make lies. You get a Jetta, Passat. There's some SUVs things. They got that new CC replacement, Golfs. Some other crap. Oh, you could still get a BMW or a Beetle convertible.
Oh, good.
For some reason. Thank God.
Good. That's here soon.
Yeah, the Arteon.
Oh no, there's a T in it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Arteon.
Arteon. It's probably Arteon.
I don't know. That's the CC replacement.
Not a clue what any of those are.
They're the small, mid-size-ish car.
Well, it's the coupe thing with it's got no.
Yeah. No pillars.
No pillars. Pillarless doors.
Yeah. It's it's not the worst looking car.
Arteon.
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 It's not the worst looking car in the world.
I always like the CC. The problem with the CC is
I feel like if I was like doing that Volkswagen show car life, I'd probably do a CC.
It looks a lot better in person.
It looks like a car.
I saw them at the Chicago Auto Show. I don't know.
If I was like air riding a Volkswagen doing that car show life, I'd probably do a CC because they look cool to me.
My problem with the big VWs is that they're like front wheel drive only, I think.
Oh, I don't know if you can get them all wheel drive or not. I guess I just assumed you could because why wouldn't you?
Kind of sucks. Like, why would you?
Yeah,
I don't really see the point of a big car if it's not rear wheel drive or all wheel drive. Hence my buying philosophy.
Yeah. I don't. That doesn't bother. A huge portion of the people that buy those cars probably don't even know what wheels are driving it.
Yeah, they don't care.
Right.
It does not appear that you can get an all-wheel drive Passat, which previously I thought that you could. They're just killing all that stuff off.
I have no idea.
We were talking about Fiestas at one
That's
point.
all right. We can move on if we'd like.
Okay.
Porsche smashes the old Nürburgring lap time record by a margin that I think that they made up.
51 seconds, I think it was.
Yeah, 5:19 versus 6:11. I think that they used time travel, and I think that's cheating.
They're flying. That's not fair.
Did you see that?
Are the wheels even touching the ground?
Did you see that lap? It's so mind-numbingly fast.
It looks like it's in fast forward.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's crazy.
It gives me anxiety thinking like, well, if he makes a mistake,
he's dead.
He's dead.
Dude, and he was on that long back straightaway, which is notoriously bumpy and real shitty. Like, there had to have been times where he was doing 270 miles an hour and that car was airborne.
Well, there's a couple spots in there where you can see his accelerator commitment.
Yeah.
And he
That's a good point.
He uncommitted very slightly a couple times on that straight, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wish that this car was the real one.
Like this is what they competed with?
This is what they could have competed with.
This is the 919
Evo.
Which basically was their LMP1 car with no rules.
Yes, so it makes...
Like double the downforce.
It makes a good bit more power. It has active aero. It makes a good bit more downforce, and it weighs less.
I don't know how a car could have almost 1,200 horsepower and weigh less than 1,900 pounds.
Isn't that
is not...
With a hybrid
system. Doesn't make any sense
at all. With a hybrid system.
The drivetrain has to weigh like 1,500 of those pounds.
It's a 4-cylinder.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
It's crazy.
I love
the math doesn't add up.
I love this car.
Like I said, I think they use time travel and none of it's real.
It's got wings and it...
Yeah. It's mind-numbing.
It's very fast. So, if you're on the drive or whatever, you should go to YouTube.
Yeah, definitely watch.
If you haven't seen it, you must be living under a rock anyway. But
it's pretty interesting.
I mean, it's been on everything in social media.
Yeah.
So, of note, I want to say the delta between the previous record and the current record, to me, like, it sounds like a big number, but in my opinion, it's not that impressive, because basically the last time that record was set was the last time that top level racing was actually happening on that track. So like if we, because like at Spa, when they reset the record at Spa, they were just a small bit faster than Formula One cars there.
Yep.
Like if modern day LMP1 cars were there, or modern day Formula Ones, or modern day whatever, that gap wouldn't have been nearly as big. So while it is a big gap, and the time itself is very impressive, and I'm not trying to take anything away from that. That 51-second gap, you can't really like
comparing it to the last record is
right, because nothing that even could have come close to that record has been on that track since that record was set anyway.
Which makes perfect sense.
Right.
I was curious about that,
because that they don't race on that track.
No, they do not.
If there's only one like somewhat top level race that actually happens there, and that's the Nürburgring 24, and there's no prototypey factory backed cars that run there, and they don't run Formula One there. Nope. And honestly, like, as cool as it probably would be, I'm not even sure that they should.
No, there's a reason they don't.
Yeah, like I don't think it would be good.
No,
probably not.
People die.
You'd almost need like 2 pit lanes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one on the other side of the track. Of course, none of your shit would be over there.
You'd have to have everything doubled.
Yes.
Because that'd be the only way that this would really work. Because otherwise they'd be just doing pits every other lap.
True, yeah.
And so, because that track is hard on tires. I'm a little bit surprised that they could finish that lap on those tires.
Yeah, there's probably nothing left of them.
No. And the fastest section is right at the end. The part where your tire is most likely to blow up is after you've been running flat out for 5 straight minutes on one of the most notoriously insane tracks on the planet. So, it's ballsy.
It is ballsy.
I'm not
impressive.
I'm not trying to take anything away from it by that statement. The time thing.
No, and you did.
It's still very impressive, but
stupid fast.
I know. I am excited to see where they take it next, because I don't think
they're just going on tour breaking records.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're doing. I don't really. The thing is that, like, I don't know where else they would go.
Just go everywhere. Fuck all the records.
Well, there's not a lot of. Yeah, I don't think that they can do that budgetary wise. Like, I would really like to know what it costs just to start that car.
Oh,
like
how much money they have in that car is probably unreal.
Like, is it $10,000 every time they hit the start button in that car, or does that even touch it?
Yeah, who's to say what that? Who's to say what that lap cost?
What's it take to get it started? How many people and how many hours?
That's what I mean. Like, because I'm sure that that's one of those cars where you have to heat it up, or else if you just start it, you'll seize it. It has to be warm, so you got to circulate oil through it and all that shit. I'll bet you
it's next level.
I'll bet you that's a 5-digit number just to hit the start button on that car.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that they're going to do too much more with it. So,
study finds even hands-free car electronics are too distracting.
I believe that.
I feel like we've even said this.
I don't think the problem is they really don't work. Realistically,
no, you spend just as much time screwing with the dash or the hands-free unit, getting it to where you need it to, than if you would just like mindlessly lift your phone out, remember exactly where everything goes, and just do it. Like, if in order for me to move or navigate things on, I guess, the Maxima at the time or Jess's Edge, I could just lift my phone out, have it done, and then have it back in my pocket and back on the road before I'd even get halfway through the infotainment center.
Right.
My thing is the voice activation stuff is so infuriating that now you're just pissed at the car. Like, so you're not paying attention to what's going on the road. It's my annoyance with my car is that it asks way too many questions. So like I press the thing and then I say call whoever, like call Adam, and then it'll bring up a screen and it'll have all these numbers on it with all these people that are named Adam. So then I got to look for Adam Nielsen, and he's number 3. So now I'm not looking at the road, obviously. And then I say 3, and then it brings up Adam Nielsen's name and his phone number.
Are you sure you want to
Are you
call?
sure? Yes. And then I think there's one more step. Like it's too many. It's too many steps. It's not normal. Like it should just be like call Adam Nielsen, and then it should pop up and say, "This is who we're calling. Are you sure?"
Yes.
Like I'm gonna call this phone number literally in 3 seconds unless you tell me not to.
And yours,
yes,
yours comes up over on the radio side, not in front of you, like on the speedometer side.
I think if you have to scroll to that thing because mine in my car I just leave it the speedometer.
Yes.
So it's digital. Oh, I do like that.
That's all
but
digital.
Like,
you could change.
No, just the center part of it's digital.
That's what I mean. But you could change.
Oh yeah, you can flip through.
You could have.
There's menus and stuff.
Not a speedometer on your.
No, there's still a needle, like an analog speedometer.
Oh, okay.
It's just the center of the dash.
Oh, so you have a digital readout as well as an analog
but
needle.
I could go through, like, you can do your navigation, you can do all that stuff. So I think you'd have to go through and, like, flip through and find that.
Yeah, the Edge is the newest car we have. So it's analog speedometer. And then this has all, like, there's, like, 8 different options you can go through. So it has, like, your RPMs, or you could go to, like, other system information or, like, your oil change information. And I mean, so you could scroll through that. I'd say there's like 8 or 9 different sub levels you can go. Then on the other side, it's like Bluetooth stuff or your radio. So you can control the radio from the right side of your dash, which also has basically the same stuff shown on your radio. And you can read text. You can read text messages there, or you can have it read it to you, and then you can respond and have it record that, and then have them send it.
So that
you're screwing with it the whole time.
Hyundai does not have that technology, which I'm assuming has to be on purpose.
Yeah, probably.
Which is probably a good call because the Veloster didn't have it either. And it's like, yeah, you probably just don't need to be texting at all while you're driving.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yep. It'll read you the text, and then it can record your voice and turn that into a text. But then you have to proofread it.
So you're still reading it.
I feel like I could have typed, because like when you're forced to, I think you'd be surprised how much you can do on your phone without looking at it.
You know where stuff is. That's the thing.
Especially if like I've had my iPhone for quite a few years now. Every time I get a new iPhone, it downloads my settings, and all the apps are in the same spot. All of my keyboard shortcuts are all the same. Mm-hmm. I assume you can do all that stuff with Androids too. Like if you know your phone, you can navigate an immense amount of it without even looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, so all this, like the hands-free stuff.
Not that I'm encouraging.
No, but I think the point we're trying to make is that all this hands-free stuff it's supposed to be the answer, and it's not. It's like a Band-Aid for a bullet hole. Yeah. It's not solving the problem.
So the other thing about this, and maybe this is just because I'm the oldest 31-year-old person on the planet, I refuse to talk to my devices.
It doesn't listen to me.
I won't do it. I won't talk to them. I feel weird about it, and I think it's stupid.
Well, I'll even if I'm doing it, I'll phone in front of my face, talking to it like this.
I won't do that.
And it still gets it wrong.
No, I have that shut off.
Then I have to go back and fix it. Like I'll do it as a joke, like watch this, and I'll read to it. And none of it's ever right. But then again, my phone's like 4 generations old.
But so, we got an Alexa for Christmas. I won't talk to it.
It's listening right now.
Well, it's been disconnected since we got it
for good reason.
Because
Alexa's not. No,
I'm not tinfoil Hattie by any stretch, but it talked to us a few too many times without being requested to, and that was the end of it. Thank God. But I refused to. Like, there were times where Katie had music playing, and I wanted her to shut it off, and I would literally say, "Katie, tell it to stop." I won't talk to it. I just won't do it.
Yeah, I'm not.
So I'm not okay with it in cars either.
A lot of people love that stuff. I
think it's stupid.
I'm not. I can't do it.
I'm with Adam. I don't really trust it.
Nope.
It seemed like a good idea. Thing. I'm just not.
No, it seemed like a good idea at first, but then you realize it like goes out to the whole
it's always internet, listening to you,
and it's always listening for a command for something.
Yeah,
that's why I don't trust it. Because it sucks because you can use them for like home automation hubs and for like listening to music in your house.
Yeah.
So in theory, it's
great.
It's
Google
nice.
Home stuff does that too, and you can walk into your room, say turn on the lights, and the lights turn on.
I think that still sends all your information and
it does.
dirty
Absolutely.
pictures to the internet too.
Yeah, it's recording you doing all kinds of stuff.
I want I don't even want. It doesn't even have to be voice activated. I just want a hub thing that is like a home controller that
doesn't
plays music that doesn't send all my personal information to.
Well, I want it to cost as little as the Alexa does.
See, that's the other problem. The thing that I want,
the company I used to work for put them in multi-million-dollar homes all the time.
The thing that I want is like $1,000
to start,
and I need 6 of them.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Otherwise,
then you can walk around with an iPad app and control your entire house.
Or you can buy a $45 Alexa and it sells all your personal information.
Or you can get up and shut off the lights yourself. You lazy bum.
Well, I don't have. It's not even necessarily that problem. It would just be. I like the idea of home automation, like having access to your house. But then, like, that's a thing too. Like, people have access to your house and put your locks and stuff on it. That's weird.
I won't do that either.
Because they have like Bluetooth locks now.
Yeah.
They're supposed to when you walk up to it.
Well, even the new Chevys have that. You can look on the app and see if your car's locked.
See if your car's locked or
I can do that with the Genesis.
Do you have an app on your phone?
Yeah, I can.
Can you make it honk right now?
Well, you're not going to hear it because it's all the way in the garage.
Just hold it until we hear it.
It's clear on the other side of Beck Manor. We won't hear it.
I gotta open it. It takes a second because it's got to establish a connection with the.
Are you far enough away or too far away? I want to hear.
No, because it's over the network.
It's over the network. The car's on the internet.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Do you have Wi-Fi in your car?
I don't know. I don't think there's.
That's a total
Wi-Fi.
scam, by the way.
Is it?
It is a huge.
I know
scam.
the
You got to put
Chevys do.
Because all it is a Verizon connection.
Yeah.
So when you buy that car, it gets added to your account.
Yes.
And so if your kid's sitting there streaming Netflix on his iPad,
it's going through your data.
It's the same thing.
See, here it is. It's
a high-end.
You can go in there and tell it. You have to pay for this, which is as soon as this expires, my free trial expires, I'm not paying for it.
So can
you make it do something?
What all can you do from that?
So from this,
now I'm interested.
See, here's the problem with my problem with this. This is how Hyundai does it. This is like $15 a month or something like that.
Oh, it's way too much
And all
money.
you can really do is like I can. So if I lived in a city and people were valeting my car, I could see where
that they're doing it.
I could see where the car is. I could honk the horn.
Do that.
I'm afraid if I do this, it will never stop, and we'll have to stop the podcast. But
it'll be fine.
Hold on.
We'll just end the show.
Can't hear anything.
I hear I hear sirens.
I hear a siren.
That's not a good sign.
It says it sent the command.
All I hear is the ambulance or fire truck.
Oh. Anyway, I don't think it's doing it.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So the other thing I can do is, I can. Oh, it failed. That's probably okay. I start the car, stop the car. I can lock it, unlock it. I can turn the lights on, which I don't know why you'd want to do that. But then you can go in and see, like, if you start it, you can go in and change the climate control.
Oh, for God's
You can turn on the defrosters. You can.
You live in a whole other life, man.
So I wonder.
Wait.
No. Nah.
We're not going to hear
it. Says it said we're probably never going to hear it. It has to go through like 3 walls to get to us.
Yeah. So can you see stuff about the engine? Like, will it tell you like distance to oil change and information like that?
Well, there's this.
Is there a service
thing? I've got the service shut off on that because I'm sure that sends information over to the dealership and they know what's going on. But yeah, like I've got diagnostic reporting. It sends me a diagnostic report monthly. I can schedule service on here.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, I don't think I would actually do it, but I could see people like you schedule a service, you tell them where your car is, they come pick it up, take it back to the dealership, do the service, and deliver it back to your place of work, and you don't even know it happens.
Yeah, like, I'm opening that right now. I don't know if. I mean, it should work. I'm still on my free trial.
Huh. That's crazy.
So it pulls up a calendar, and then I think you go in here and you click and you say, I want this done, and you schedule it.
Does your car even have keys?
Well, you can get a credit card key.
I knew it.
Which I want.
Yeah, that would be
But it's $250. I don't think I want it that bad.
No, that's a little
too much.
Little steep.
It's too much.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Mine has.
Like I said, when it expires, I'm done with this.
Mine's in the ignition.
I was going to say mine's in the ignition because, small town me.
Somebody got too close to it at one point, and it sent me an email. And
someone's touching your car?
Basically. Yeah.
There's a video from like one of the 8 cameras showing him walk up to the car. Did you just have the backup camera that shows like the front, back, and the sides?
This one doesn't have that because I think they brought it out later, but mine does a thing that I swear to God is also witchcraft, where it's one camera, but it's looking out the back, and then you can change the view where all of a sudden it's looking down at the trunk, but it's not the whole car.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a satellite from space, like on top of your car.
I really don't know how that works. It's got to be the same camera.
Yeah.
So at one point it's fisheye just looking back, and then if you click this thing, it looks like it changes like point of view, and it's looking at is the very edge of the bumper.
Huh.
Like if you're trying to get like stupid close to something.
The last place I worked for, we did all these crazy camera installs for like apartment buildings and stuff like that. And they had this single camera that you could put in a hallway, and it would have like a 360-degree thing, and it would stitch the picture together so it didn't confuse the shit out of you. Mm-hmm. And that had a mirror that they used to do it. And I wonder if the camera is stationary.
And it's got a mirror.
And they rotate a mirror in front of it to give you that downward angle and then pull it out for the fisheye.
Yeah, I don't know. But the really weird one is when it does that, when you get the 360 view camera, that's just a bunch of cameras stitched together.
Yeah, that's a bunch of cameras stitched together.
That shit's weird.
Yeah,
that's the new G80s have that.
The Nissans do too.
I think you got to pay extra for that. But
I'm sure.
There's even options like I don't have. There's more options for shit. I don't even know.
There's just like a mid-level.
Yeah, I got a mid-level. I got the mid-level one. There was a crazier one that does weirder shit. I don't know. And then there's the G90, if you want that. Just does even weirder shit. Massage seats and stuff like that.
I'm almost certain I would never use that. Because I would feel like
I would always use it.
I feel like
never be off.
Like it would give me anxiety. I just feel like there's 100 people touching me all at once, and it would just give me anxiety.
Do you use your heated seats in the summertime?
Oh God, no.
Really? You don't?
Why would you do that?
Must like freezing cold.
Why would you use your heated seats in the summertime?
Loosens up your back.
Oh my God!
If you got a little back tenderness.
I got shoulder tenderness from
you could use the heated seat.
No, it's not. It's too high.
Oh, it's not. Not this muscle.
No, it's the
trap
between the neck and the shoulder.
Yeah, it's your trap.
Yeah. When I do
not
shrugs.
it's not your rhomboid. Yeah, it's your trap.
I don't know. It hurts.
That's not gonna help you.
No.
Are those the seats in your car? Are they really, really hot on high?
They are very warm. Yes.
Like too hot?
No, not like Volkswagen too hot.
Yeah. So when I first got my Audi, it was like the surface of the sun.
It's very, very, very hot.
Three lights means it's gonna burn you.
Yeah. Like,
2 lights is
like
where it's
I'm
at.
genuinely concerned that the leather in my seat is gonna catch on fire and burn my car to the ground.
Yep. 2 lights is the right amount of heat.
Do you have air conditioned seats?
Yes.
Dude, if you have leather,
does Jess have air conditioning?
That's got to be money.
Oh, because the ones in the Fords are a little different than mine. So all it is really is there's ducting in the seat, and then it's got a fan and it pushes cold air through the seat. But in the Fords, it like forces air
through it,
and it's like that you can feel air coming out of the seat.
Yeah.
In the Genesis, it's not that forceful. It cools the seat leather, so the seat cools off.
Okay.
It's not like blowing air in your ass like the Fords, which is, I don't know if that's what you're into.
Nice.
I guess.
Yeah, sounds nice.
I'm just saying,
gets
like
rid of all
that,
the sweat, it blows it away.
Maybe. But the other thing I noticed on the Genesis is when it turns on the heated seats, it still turns on the fan seat because it radiates heat off of it, like it blows the heat off the seat.
Huh.
I don't know. It's just a bunch of shit to break.
So,
and when the warranty's done, I'm gonna
my
give it to somebody
mom's
else.
like 2006 or 7, whatever it is, maybe 8. Lincoln has air conditioned seats on it. Something broke on there, and they took it to the dealership, and they were like, "Yeah, that'll be like I don't remember what it was huge, like $800." And I was like, you know what? I don't really need.
Don't
those.
need them that bad.
They're not that important to me. Because it's like it was like that was somewhat recently. It's like a 10-year-old car.
Yeah,
and it's got like probably close to 200,000 on it. My mom's like, "Or maybe we'll just buy a new one."
We'll get rid of this one.
Which she
that's
hasn't.
Pretty
done
good.
either.
200,000. I mean,
she put a lot of miles on.
What do you expect?
But this is the way my parents are. You know, like it's never done her wrong.
So they're not going to get rid of it.
Starts every single day when she goes out to go to work in it. My dad despises it, but my mom likes it, and so she's not going to get rid of it because it's paid off and it runs.
I get that.
My dad just hates it because it doesn't have any like knobs. Everything's buttons. So kind of like this stuff, you have to look. Like, oh, I want to change the temperature. I have to look and see where it is and then push the button until it gets to where I want it. And then I have to change the fan speed by pushing. And you have to take your eyes off the road and look at it, which is dumb.
I have knobs. I have a volume knob.
Knobs are the
nice.
best.
And I have temperature knobs, and I think I have a tuner knob. It's crazy. It's wild in there. 2015, it's all on it's a little wild.
It's probably all
it is all on the steering wheel.
Your steering wheel too.
Yeah.
I would hope it was because my 2005 Caravan has steering wheel controls.
Hell
yeah.
So wild.
Does your Avalanche have steering controls?
It does.
Awesome.
Avalanche is nice. It's well clipped.
It is a nice truck.
It's a nice vehicle that you purchased there.
I did. Thank you.
Oh, speaking of Avalanche things, and then maybe we should shut this down.
Yeah,
I learned something.
We're over 2 hours.
I learned something about
my Avalanche?
About your Avalanche when I was looking at stuff for, I don't remember what it was, maybe the new Blazer or something. So your truck and your bed are not separate pieces.
No.
They're one piece, and that's why it has that crazy pillar thing on the bed.
And that's why I can fold my seats down.
Right. But when you have a truck and bed that are one piece, apparently they have to reinforce that, and that's what that sloped. Like if you take that trim plastic off, there's reinforcing structural metal inside of it. And that's why the Ridgeline has that same silhouette, because it also is all one piece, because that's actually unibody.
That would make sense. So you're saying it's safer. It's like a roll bar.
It might be. It might be safer. I don't know.
think it is.
No, it's probably.
I think it's well. It's probably not worse. I think it's just
how safe for truck cabs. Like if you drop a truck upside down.
There's only one way to find
serious
out.
question.
There's only one way to find out, Michael.
Don't want to find out.
I've seen some really not good-looking trucks on Copart before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When tree fell on it,
or when they roll, there's nothing left.
Or they roll. I don't know what people are doing to roll trucks, trailer accidents, I guess.
I saw a video trying to discourage people from sitting in the back of a truck, like cruising,
Yep.
And they had a truck that was stationary and a Dodge Charger that hit it at like 60 miles an hour. It was full of test dummies, and they were way panned out. I mean, they had to be 100 feet away from that truck, big lens. You had to be able to see 20, 30 feet above the truck, and one of those dummies disappeared.
Wow. It's a lot of energy, though, to get rid of.
That truck basically was just a cab.
When it was done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it took the bed all the way to the cab.
Yeah, I believe.
And that dummy had to have been 40 feet in the air. And then it comes back down and just crashes into the cement. The person's very dead.
They might have been dead on the way up.
Well, I think everybody, they had 4 dummies in the back of it, and all of them for sure died.
Yeah, I believe that.
So that's our PSA for 4th of July that you're not going to hear until it's too late anyway.
Yep.
People are starting to shoot fireworks, so we should probably...
The sun's gone down, so it's fireworks.
Really hoping that everyone has all 10 fingers.
Watch your fingers and toes. Don't drink too much when you shoot fireworks in 2019.
Yeah, next year.
It's too late.
Yeah.
But, let's wrap this show up. Talk to you guys next week.